snow.
In the rain or in the snow.
Got the funky flow.
Got the funk flow. Got the.
In the rain or in the snow.
In the rain or in the snow.
Got the funky flow.
Got the funk flow.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly.
Remember, strike it rich, the key is love. Save everybody from way up above. I can sell a bottle cap like this.
I will try to sell a cap like this.
I can sell a bottle cap like this.
I will try to sell a cap like this.
I never dream it would be like these. I am the #1 ruler of the 7 seas. The skunk over here will bring you luck.
The skunk over here will bring you luck. The skunk over here will...
The pump over here comes with a truck.
The pump over here comes with a truck. The pump over here comes with a...
Oh yes, I had a lot of fun. I meet a lot of bucks and now I'm on the run. In the rain or in the snow.
In the rain or in the snow.
Got the funky flow.
Got the funky flow.
In the rain or in the snow.
In the rain or in the snow.
Got the funky flow.
Got the funky flow.
Let me tell you something that I never tell you before. Listen this. I have never sold everything.
I have never sold everything.
You have never sold everything.
You have never sold everything. You have...
Money is all you need.
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 Your father's gonna be very proud of you. Let me know if you have another flea market. I will help you, or you will help me.
You got that right, teacher. Thanks a lot.
Now step on the gas. Step on the gas. When I say boom, 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 you say bam, bam, bam. No pause in between. Come on, let's jam. Step on the gas.
Step on the gas.
Step on the brakes.
Step on the brake.
Step on the brakes.
Step on the brake.
Step on the gas.
Step on the gas.
I'm glad you know which way to go, but it ain't gonna stop me. Here we go. Check and turn the signals to the right.
Check and turn the signal to the right.
Now turn to the right.
Now turn to the right.
Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL. I am incredibly tired today, so this is going to be an interesting cast. I think I have like some weird kind of cold or something. Don't really know what's going on, but either way, best of 5 as always, all the way through today. Set 1 to 4, all the lineups are selected in advance and all the games are played at the same time. And set 5 of course is the ace match, which means every player can compete again if we go there. So let's not waste any time today. Let's get straight into introducing the teams. I get the feeling we're going to have a long cast today, just because we have 2 of the more longer maps in the rotation with both Rose and Bridge and Tears of Goddess. So starting us off, we will have Clan Revolution. Looks like I've just noticed something, but that's all well and good. They've got Aeternum, Hirmu, VIR, and Narsil. All relatively good players. Hirmu, unfortunately, as you'll find out in a second, has been subjected to his own curse again. The other team the team they'll be playing against is our South American, Korean, Canadian hybrid team. It is DM. DM have not done overly well this season. They've actually lost all of their series so far. So if they want a chance to make it into those playoffs, they will need to win today. They have no other choice. And that is something they're going to have to watch out for as we get in. Now, the lineups, I'd say both teams are relatively evenly matched today. We've got Aeternum versus Pre in game number 1, both some pretty well-accomplished Protoss players. We've got Hirmu versus DY, so there's that curse I was saying about. He always ends up with ZvZ. It doesn't matter what week it is, he'll have another ZvZ. We're going to have VIR versus Whip in his ZvT. And then VIR and Sandra apparently didn't happen, unfortunately, so that is a walkover in favor of ReV. So ReV are actually going to be starting the series up 1-0, but that won't be shown on the scoreboard until game number 4. But Sandra, apparently Castamuse was trying to contact him, but he didn't get through to him, so he just completely forgot or something, or was asleep. But either way, let's have a look at our first couple of players. We've got Aeternum here for ReV. He's done pretty well so far, winning 3 of his 5 games. Winning all of his games, which is just the one against Protoss. Then we're going to have his opponent, which is going to be Pre. Now, Pre has played a hell of a lot of games in the STPL. He's not won an insane number of them, but 39% is still very, very good. He's lost against some very strong opponents. And he's been up, I mean, in the last 10 games, he's been up against some really strong people. So, not too much else to see there. Let's have a look at the map stats we're going into. It is going to be Tears of Goddess. We've not had too many games on this map so far, this STPL. We've only had 1 PvP. That did go on for 13 minutes and 30 seconds. So, it could be a case of a relatively normal game. I mean, we've not really got too many games to base this off of. So to see how this is going to go, let's hop into it. It's game number 1. Okay, starting us off down here in the bottom right hand corner, fighting in the magenta for DM. It's Pre. And his opponent spawning up here in the top left hand position in the pink, fighting for ReV. It's Aeternum. Now I realize we've got pink versus purple, but I actually think these colors are distinct enough on the minimap that it's not too bad. If you don't want me to change it to red versus blue, I can do. But for me, it's perfectly fine. So. Good thing is they hosted on top versus bottom, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so we have the first gateway coming up for Pre, the first gateway coming up for Aeternum as well. I think both players are probably going to go for 1 gate gas here, but we could see a 2 gate from one of our players. Aeternum definitely scouting a little bit, a lot faster than his opponent is. There's that gas coming in for him. It is going to be a 2 gate from Aeternum. I didn't think he was going to go for this. It's definitely not going to be great given the fact he is in cross positions, but it's not a super all-in PvP to go for 2-gate or anything like that, so it's not a major deal if he doesn't do major damage. Of course, if your opponent does skip their first zealot and they rely entirely on a single dragoon to hold off, it can actually be quite difficult to deal with a 2-gate, so I have to see how that's going to go. Yeah, I will apologize in advance if I seem a bit low energy today. I don't know why, but I've got some weird kind of cold. I've not been anywhere, so I don't understand how this has happened, but maybe when I left my house like 2 weeks ago to go into my office to like walk completely alone into my completely empty office, maybe I picked something up, but I don't think it's corona, which is good. At least I'm hoping it's not corona anyway. I've got none of the symptoms of corona, so I should be fine. So second gate we is up for Pre already. He's preparing for a possible 2-gate from his opponent. This is going to allow him to build the 2 dragoons at the same time, and as I mentioned before, given the distance the Aeternum is from Pre, these zealots shouldn't really be able to do too much. Lucky Noob saying most people don't have symptoms. That is a fair point, but the incubation period for coronavirus doesn't match up with the times I've been out of my house. So the symptoms I have now don't make any sense for it to be COVID, I think. I'm hoping I don't have COVID anyway. I've basically not left my house in like 9 months, so if I got COVID I'm going to be really pissed off. I deliberately locked myself out from the outside world so I didn't have to deal with it, and then I don't go to the store because I get everything delivered. I live in a first world country, man. We get all our food delivered to us. It's brilliant. Now, Dragoons actually held off the Zealots pretty well. They're not losing a single Dragoon, losing a couple of probes though. Not going to be too impactful, but obviously every probe does count at the start of the game. Looks like we do have range coming in, of course, for both players. Range should be finished for Pre already, so Pre could be in a position to go and handle that now. Lucky Noob seeing where he lives. You're from, if I remember correctly, Lucky Noob, you're in Ukraine, right? Or am I imagining? No, Bulgaria. You're Bulgaria. In the UK, it's not that expensive at all. It's like £4 to get a delivery. And that's way better than going to a supermarket, even when, like... Even when there wasn't a pandemic on, I still get all my shopping delivered because supermarkets are horrible, man. Okay, we've got Citadel coming in for Pre, so Pre is going to be going for some early Dark Templars here. Aeternum hasn't made a decision on his tech just yet, which is a bit of a problem. No second Nexus either. So the longer this game goes on, even though Aeternum is at a lead in probes at the moment and a lead in supply, this is definitely looking a little bit better for Pre. Pre's going to have his tech up a little bit sooner. He's got cannons back here for defense. I think he's preparing for a possible Citadel coming in from his opponent, possible Templar Archives as well. Yeah, the only thing that's happened with the pandemic for me is I started drinking more alcohol, and that's probably not a good thing because I've been getting less exercise than ever, so I need to start exercising. And hit 'em ups in Canada. Okay, it looks like we are going to have Aeternum pushing across the map. He does have a decent number of Dragoons. There's only 4 Dragoons back here for Pre, but he does of course have those cannons, which will help shore up this defense most likely. Still no tech is up here for Aeternum. The Robo is still not finished. which is a problem. But here we go. Looks like Aeternum's going to push in. Let's actually hide the supply for just a second. The cannon the cannon's definitely going to be helping out a lot, eating a lot of shots. But the 2 DTs coming in here, that is going to be what's going to allow him to hold on to this. And the DTs are doing so much damage. Pre loses 2 cannons and a decent number of Dragoons, but Aeternum is going to be in panic mode right now, falling back. Observatory here. Probe still AFK up here. I think he was planning on building his tech there, but got a bit waylaid. But these 2 DTs are worth their weight in absolute gold now. That I kind of neglect or regret seeing this a DT rush because he did expand before, but going for DTs this fast are very good. You get Storm straight after as well. And one of the DTs is actually going home. This is a really weird choice. Now it looks like Pre could possibly be thinking about hiding a base in here in the top right as well. The first DT does get into the main base. The Observer is here. Oh, he should have just gone and tried to kill a probe, but I guess he didn't want to risk it. Well, I guess there was no risk because he'd lost it anyway, but he chose not to. Oh, a Dark Archon. It's not often we get to see that in TvP even. PvP. Man, I had a few, like there was a few races I could say there and I said them all wrong. There we go. But High Templar coming in. DT, I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with this. Feedback could be a good spell to use. Mind Control is okay against shuttles and reavers, but we're not going to see that at least for a while from Aeternum. Although there is a support bay coming in now, so there we go. And here we go, looks like the Dragoon's going to be heading on forward. Can you Maelstrom non-biological units? I don't think you can, right? Either way, Storm hasn't finished, well, Storm's only just finished researching, so we won't see what the upgrade is for the Dark Archon just yet. Zealots are biological, right? So you could technically Maelstrom Zealots. Here we go, the third base is being hidden in the top right hand corner. There's actually an easily defendable third base with a gas, which has the same as the mains, right outside your base. So Pre doing this is probably more of a risk than he needs to take. But there we go, I guess he's planning on going for it. We've got a second Forge coming in, so Pre with +1 attack, just now finishing up, is going to be at a very big upgrade advantage. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for +1 armor or +2 attack straight away off of this. Looks like he's waiting just now. He's going for his robo as well. Needs to make sure he goes for some observers of his own to keep an eye on what his opponent is doing and any possible DTs that could come back against him. Maelstrom obviously going to help out a lot against that, but there we go. This is... I don't know what this upgrade is. If anyone knows, please tell me. all the Protoss upgrades look the same to me. I'm guessing this is Mind Control. It is Mind Control, okay. All the Templar upgrades, they all look similar, so I never know which is which. It's like the Overlord upgrades, I always get them mixed up as well, but... So he's going for Mind Control. That is going to help against the Shuttle Reavers. His Dark Archon has been here for a while, so he almost has the 100 and... Is Mind Control 150 energy? LML, all Protoss units look the same to a Terran player. They're all basically... I mean, this is a Zealot, right? It says High Templar, but this is a Zealot. But yeah, he already has enough for a Mind Control, which is going to be very important. There is a Reaver and a Shuttle coming over here. Now, one thing to note when you Mind Control units, you do get the... Do you unlock the upgrades, or do the units that they have the upgrades? I can never remember how it goes, but it's a very good way of getting hold of some Reavers early on, and that's going to help him in his defense. The Dark Archon is a way away from being able to do this at the moment. He does see it coming in. Let's see if there's any reaction. Here we go, the High Templar are going to try and move up as well, but doesn't want to be using those. The probes have been pulled, but that's a big scarab already. Oh my goodness, where's the Dark Archon? Oh, the Dark Archon's coming, but the Reaver's going to get away. But Mind Control has a big range, so... Ah, yeah, LML confirming. LML, by the way, big help. LML saying you get the research abilities unlocked. That's why if you play Triathlon on UMS, I think it is, you unlock all the Arbor upgrades when you Mind Control them. I think in the pro level it was always played on melee though, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But it's definitely an interesting idea. It's just a shame it only works with neutral units if there's UMS on. Because if UMS isn't turned on, I think the neutral units can't have any upgrades or anything like that. UMS allows you to set that. Now support bay coming in for Aeternum. Now there's no shuttle speed just yet, at least for Pre. Oh sorry, Aeternum by the way. Pre is getting the rubber support bay. Both players are just kind of building up. Obviously up here we do have that hidden expansion. He's not been able to transfer probes up here, so it's not as useful as Aeternum's base, which is already bringing a tidy profit back from being fully saturated. Looks like Aeternum is actually going to go and try and take a fourth base, very possibly scouting Pre's hidden base in the process. Now, hidden bases in PvP are ridiculous. They are so strong. If they don't get scouted, it can be the difference between a won and a lost game. It happens at the pro level as well. Yeah, and Lucky Noob and LML confirming in chat as well, you don't get the forge upgrades, you only get the ability upgrades, sort of like shuttle speed, energy upgrades, things like that, scarab damage and whatnot. Now, Pre has a decent amount of supply, but he doesn't actually have that many units. His army is incredibly technical at the moment. There's a lot of Archons. There is the Dark Archon as well, and a decent number of High Templar. But in a one-on-one, well, in an army versus army fight, I think Aeternum actually has a major advantage here, because how do you control all of this? It's so difficult. There's so many different spells you need to use. You've obviously got Mind Control. He's only going to be able to Mind Control a single ReV though, and that's not going to help too much. But there we go. The ReV has been Mind Controlled. This is going to allow him to drop it out, but he's not. Oh, he is going to drop it, but his army is just getting completely annihilated here. He just doesn't have the required units to be able to deal with what Aeternum has been pumping out off of his 3 fully saturated bases. The other downside of the Dark Archon is when you Mind Control, it uses all of the shields up, so it does die pretty much immediately afterwards, and I think this is going to be game over. Obviously, Pre is going to try and hold on. He does have that hidden base, but it doesn't really matter. Or he doesn't. Oh, he does save the High Templar somehow. That was the hottest pickup I've seen this year. But looks like the Archon is going to be able to kill that. He does have a Storm, but he's not going to be able to put it on anything. And I think this is the moment where Pre has to tap out. There's not really anything he can do here, even with a hidden base. And yeah, as LML said, Mind Control doesn't help when you're that far down in supply. There's only so much you can do. Looks like Pre is just going to check how many bases his opponent's on, sees the third base, sees it fully saturated, and if he scouts with his probe from his third base, he is going to see just how far behind he is. But Pre, never the one to give up, never surrenders, does Pre. Is going to stay in as long as he can, because while you still have money, while you still have a mining base, there is still the defender's advantage of being in your main. So let's see how this is going to go. Trouble is, even in the gateway count, you can see that Aeternum, this is why he's so far ahead. He's got way more gateways than Pre has. I mean, Pre is holding on. He will have an upgrade advantage, very well. He already has the upgrade advantage as 2-1 against just 1-0. He does have Reavers coming out, which will help a lot as well. But he's kind of fighting a losing battle here. It's a little bit of a disappointment here for Pre. He definitely had a really cool idea. It's just it wasn't executed maybe as well as it didn't go as well as he was hoping. We've got the fourth base up here for Aeternum as well. Pre has still got a base up here. He does have a gateway. He's building a DT here, and there's no defense again. Oh, sorry, there is. There's cannons. And I mean, Aeternum's units, they've been pushed away from the main. They have pulled back. He is going to pull back to his reinforcements. A ReV has actually walked the entire way across the map throughout this happening. There is 3 observers here. He does not want to lose to DTs right now. But he could lose all 3 of them, which would be a little bit funny if he just like built 6 DTs all of a sudden. But looks like he is going to fall back again behind the gateway wall. This makes it very difficult for Aeternum's units to push in. But I mean, here we go. There's going to be a DT coming out this base. He wants to go up to the 3rd, but he's going to walk into the 4th. And yeah, he's going to try and kill some units, but 2 cannons shooting a DT, that is not going to end well. Does get a single probe, but doesn't really matter too much. High Templars being killed in the main base as well. Archon's going down before they can morph. And Pre is a dead man in this game. And that is going to put ReV up 2-0. When he taps out, there we go. GG. Pre taps out. And Aeternum wins game number 1. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 2. See you guys soon. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into our second map here. It's Hirmu, a long-running player of the STPL. He's lost a lot of games, but he keeps getting ZvZ, which he said he doesn't like very much, but it seems to be his luck of the draw. He's got another ZvZ here. It's against DY, who is another one, I think, of Castamuse's friends, who's friends with Sandra as well, who's joined DM along with him. So let's get into it. It's on Blindside. It's game number 2. Okay, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the Teal Zerg fighting for DM. It's DY. And his opponent spawning down here in the 6 o'clock location. We have the brown Zerg player fighting for ReV. It's their captain. It's Hirmu. Now, just while we're kind of in the starting moments of ZvZ, although this is kind of probably, as a matter of fact, I'll wait, because this is a very important time in ZvZ that I always miss. We have Hirmu going for an Overlord, so, no, we have DY going for an Overlord, so Hirmu is going to go for a pull, and most likely a gas, so it's going to be a 9 pull, 9 gas most likely, could be an 8 gas here, no drone, no, there we go, so the drone is coming in, so it's going to be 9 pull, 9 gas for him. DY looks like he's going to be going for a 12 hatch, very possibly here, 2 drones being started immediately once the Overlord finishes. DY sitting out his drone already, no, he's decided against it for the time being. He's actually going to go for a spawning pull, so 11 pull, sorry, I think that was a 12 pull technically from DY. The 9 pull 9 gas has been activated by Hirmu, so he is going to play a very aggressive style here. And yeah, just now we know what the initial build orders are. The final week, or the final day of week 3 is going to be on Sunday, and it's going to be early in the day. So it's going to be a little bit weird. Usually I cast in the evening, but on Sunday I really don't want to be casting at night. And I didn't cast on Monday because I was being lazy. So if you do want to watch, it's going to be 11:30 GMT in the morning. And that is 12:30 CET if you're in Europe. Of course, if you're in America, it's going to be difficult to watch. It'll be at 7:30 AM EST, 5:30 AM for PST as well. But if you're in KST like Castamuse, it'll be nice and easy for you to watch. It'll be, hold on, 11:30 for me is, what is it for Japan time? It's 8:30 in the evening for Korea, so that's not too bad. I initially planned on casting tomorrow, but something came up, so I'm going to be busy tomorrow. That may or may not be related to the fact that that may or may not be related to the fact I've been drinking more, because there may be a drinking event in VR chat where everyone hangs out and gets drunk. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's really fun, so I'm going to do that. That starts at like 1 PM for me tomorrow, so I'm definitely not going to be around to cast in the evening. I'll drink at a nice pace. I won't get drunk. Like, I won't get too drunk anyway. I don't usually get drunk. That's one thing I'm clever about. I'm very sensible when it comes to alcohol. I drink at a nice, easy pace. Nice, easy pace. And then stop when I realize I've drunk a little bit too much. Okay, so we do have the expansion up for DY now. He's now up at 18 supply with 12 drones already. Hirmu still on 10 drones for the moment. He did go for a 1-hatch lair, so he's got a spire coming up as well. Not too many lings were built by Hirmu, so going for the 1 base speed, not really paying off too much. Yeah, something came up. An event came up. Yeah, the casting on Sunday would be better for me anyway, because it gives my voice a break, because I get the feeling I'm going to be casting for a while today. I don't know why. I've just got this odd feeling, like some days you just think, the teams we've got, I think the games are going to go long, and that's one of those days, so I could be casting for a few more hours yet. Yeah, I'm participating in a high level event. It's really fun though, because like, hanging out with people, getting drunk is really, really fun. I don't know why. There's just something about it. It may be in VR, but it's still fun. Yeah, Logan saying in chat as well, just wait, hit him up. Oh, sorry, we're gonna field 4 Radleys in one day. No, we're in an 8-hour stream. Oh my god. I couldn't imagine that. That would be so fun, but so awful. I would probably die after that cast. Like, I just wouldn't be able to... I'd probably fall asleep mid-cast or something, because I just wouldn't have the energy. I'd just, like, stop casting, I'd just observe, basically. It's just like, ugh. Thing is, Radley can play all 3 races as well, so... There we go. So, I mean, back to the game, of course. DY has actually gone for some very fast spores here, knowing his Spire is later than his opponents. And Hirmu is kind of sitting back a little bit too far here. Like, I'm not really sure this is going to work out too well. His one benefit is, of course, he will be ahead in the air war for as long as he continues to build Mutalisks. But while he's building Mutalisks and his opponent is droning up, that means he is getting further behind. Yeah, and I'm very glad it's Friday as well. I went back to work on Monday, and I already need another break. And the thing is, today was incredibly quiet. Like, I have no idea how it was that quiet at work, but I'm still tired. And yesterday I messed up, but I'm not going to say what I did on stream, because I don't know if my bosses are watching. But, it wasn't a serious problem or anything. I didn't cause any problems for my clients, which is good. I didn't cause anything, I didn't do anything that would be bad, but I'm just glad it's the weekend. Hirmu having a little bit of trouble microing against the Scourge. Of course, it is Korea versus Finland, so not the best ping in the world. Obviously, that does affect both players. Hirmu losing one of his overlords there, definitely going to be causing a few problems. DY getting another connection. Hirmu losing another muteless Kia. And the big problem is, I just don't know how Hirmu can actually do any damage against DY. He's going to send in a lot of lings here. He has to go in together, but there's already a good number of lings back home defending. He's got a sunken here, which can be which can defend the sunken. What am I going to say? Oh, I don't know. But either way, it looks like the Muteless going to try and get in to kill some of the lings. He is going to be relying on his Muteless to be able to win this engagement. But unfortunately, due to the wall of the lings and the evolution chamber, the lings do not get into the base. And now we have a lot of trouble here for Hirmu. It wouldn't surprise me to see him tap out soon. He does have a decent number of supply. It's not the end of the game just yet. But he is definitely not in the best position. DY sending a lot of Scourge over the other side of the map. Hirmu having one of his overlords out here. This most likely will be sniped. Although DY cannot see that. The vision range of Scourge isn't amazing. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait. I think he connected with one of the Muteless too early. Or did he kill one? That's really weird. It's like he didn't... I don't know how that didn't kill the Muteless. He hit with 3 Scourge, right? I think 2 of them must have hit as it was spawning, so it didn't count or something. I don't know, but that was really, really nice timing by DY. Maybe there was a Muteless that died. Yeah, maybe it's a Muteless that died and just disappeared because it was technically out of the egg, but it didn't finish spawning or something. LML saying in chat that Finnish Muteless have 220 HP, which means they can survive 2 Scourge. Wait, no, that doesn't even mean they can survive 2 Scourge, right? They would need 250. Oh no, yeah they can, they're 110. I thought Scourge did 125 damage for some reason. Hirmu this. But here we go, looks like DY gonna take this engagement. Hirmu does not have many Mutelisks here. There are Scourge coming in from both players, gonna help out a little bit. It's 6 versus 6, I think Hirmu may have 7 actually. No, it's actually 8 versus 6, so Hirmu is not in a bad position still, but now he's running, and when you're running and not firing, this is when things become a problem. Hirmu losing control of his Muteless there. GG, Hirmu taps out, and DY takes game number 2. See you guys in just a couple of minutes.
In the flea market so early. I've been working here since my mama was a baby. Just because the rhythm is slow, that don't mean that you can't flow. In the rain or in the snow,
In the rain or in the snow,
got the funky flow.
got the funk flow, got the
In the rain or in the snow,
in the rain or in the snow,
got the funky flow.
got the funk flow.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly.
All you ever need is to be nice and friendly. All you
Remember, strike it rich, the key is love. Save everybody from way up above. I can sell a bottle cap like this.
I will try to sell a cap like this.
I can sell a bottle cap like this.
I will try to sell a cap like this.
I never dream it would be like these. I am the #1 ruler of the 7 seas. The skunk over here will bring you luck.
The skunk over here will bring you luck. The skunk over here will
The pump over here comes with a truck.
The pump over here comes with a truck. The pump over here comes with a
Oh yes, I had a lot of fun. I meet a lot of bucks and now I'm on the run. In the rain or in the snow,
in the rain or in the snow.
got the funky flow.
Got the funky flow.
In the rain or in the snow,
In the rain or in the snow.
got the funky flow.
Got the funky flow.
Let me tell you something that I never told you before. Listen this. I have never sold everything.
I have never sold everything.
You have never sold everything. Money, money, money is all you need.
Money, money, money is all you need.
Your father's gonna be very proud of you. Let me know if you have another flea market. I will help you, or you will help me.
You got that right, teacher. Thanks a lot.
Okay guys, welcome back. We are going to be heading into game number 3 between DM and DM and ReV. We've got VIR versus Whip. It is a TvZ. Let's get into it. Okay, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position, we have the Green Terran fighting for DM. It's Whip. Okay, and his opponent spawning down here in the Magenta fighting for ReV. It's VIR. I don't know if you're supposed to be able to read this name like Via, or if VIR is fine. If someone knows, I'm probably going to say VIR anyway, because it's easier, but always useful to know. Now it is a TvZ. We've not... Wait, I don't think this season we've had a TvZ on this map so far. We'll just check the map stats again. We have had one TvZ on this map so far. It was a 7-minute game between Terra and VIR. VIR did unfortunately lose here, so this isn't his best map, but Whip's game... Whip has played on this map once and he also took a loss. It was in a different matchup, but still both players eager to get their first win on this map here for the season. Elfunk saying Via. Say Via. I suppose I'll say Via, yeah. Whip is easy to say. Whip. That's like one of the only jokes from Family Guy I can remember and I actually laugh at every time. The whole cool whip. Because Stewie can't say whip for whatever reason. I don't like Family Guy, but that one joke for some reason has stuck in my head all these years. But it is a TvZ. The games previously in the STPL, when you look at the average runtime, the average ZvT duration on this map was only 9 minutes and 40 seconds. That was over a course of only 7 games, so we've not had too many games here. But one thing to note is of all the games that DM have played here, they've won all 6 of them. And Clan Revolution of the games they've played on this map, they've won 4 and lost 1. So this is definitely kind of looking like DM's home turf, getting a lot of wins on this map for their team. Not only Whip, of course, who did lose his only... Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Maybe Whip played on this map. Yeah, Whip must have played on this map before this season or something. Maybe before. I don't know. That is, I think, is messed up. Ignore the stats that I just said because I think there's something weird with them. And I can't remember if Whip used to play on a team before this, but Whip is actually going for a 2-Rax here. Now, that is not a common build. Okay, so Whip did play on this map against Digda. That was in week 1 of season 4, and he did lose on Pathfinder, so yeah, the stats for DM are a little bit weird. I need to fix that up, but VYR, or Via, not doing too bad here. Got a second hatchery up already, third hatchery coming in. Now, Whip didn't actually scout this hatchery, which is a pretty big deal. Good hide of that. But that's not too much the problem. The 2-Rax is going to... Well, it's not a 2-Rax, sorry. It's a 1-Rax fast expand into a second Rax early on. So it's going to be 2-Rax Academy. I need to pay more attention to the game and less on stats. And there we go. We've got the Academy coming in as well. So 2-Rax Academy, definitely more of a standard build these days. It used to be the build that pretty much everyone went for. On the sort of advent of the 1-Rax double in TvZ. But then for a period, +1 5-Rax took over with the Academy coming up a little bit later. Rather than go for the Academy around 26, you go for the Academy around 30 something, if I remember rightly, 32. And then you go for more Rax earlier on, whereas the more classic 2-Rax Academy would be 2 racks, then an academy, then you'd either stick on 2 racks, go for a 3rd racks, or go for a 4th one. It used to be a very different build back in the day than it is now, but it's kind of become more standard again. Lair coming up in the natural. Via going to help prepare against the possible engagement that's going to be coming his way. He will need to make sure that he scouts for a possible attack from the Terran, because 2 racks academy allows you to go very, very quickly into an aggressive follow-up. Engineering Bay coming up already on 5 minutes. He is getting super ready, super early for Muteless here. Of course, you can get +1 attack very, very quickly as well. Stim is already on the way. This is one of the benefits of going for 2 racks academy, and most likely he's going to push out here with his first set of Marines and the medics. And there's currently nothing to actually defend Veer against this, so I think Veer is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's got a single Sunken, but a single medic can out-heal a Sunken. So as long as you've got a single medic on the Marine will not die. You need more Sunkens than there are medics, otherwise you are going to lose the game. And with absolutely no scouting going on, with Veer missing the Marines as well, with his Lings that are in the middle of the map in the wrong place, I think this could be game over already. Whip is going to get his revenge on this map and will take a win over Veer, because I do not see a way that he could possibly hold on to this. Look at this. The Marine is not taking any damage from the Sunken. The Sunken dies already. Firebats coming in as well, stimming up here. There is absolutely nothing that Veer has that can defend against this. He's got a Spire coming in, but it's not going to be finished fast enough. The Lair is going to go down, and Overlord going down as well for good measure. The Firebats basically make Lings impossible to do anything with to defend this. And this is the end of the game pretty much. So Lings coming in, they will die very, very quickly. The Sunken's trying to come up on the high ground, but not fast enough even. And the Marines getting up on the high ground. The Firebat doing a ton of damage here. 3 kills. Gets the Sunken as well, and there we go. GG, well played is called. Veer taps out. Whip takes game number 2, or game number 3. And that is, given the fact that Sandra versus Narsil was a walkover in favor of ReV, takes us to an ace match, which is going to be coming up just after this.
Alright, we're here, just sitting in the car. I want you to show me if you can get far. Step on the gas.
Step on the, step on the, step on the, step on the,
Step on the brakes.
step on the, step on the, step on, step, break.
Now step on the gas.
Step on the, step on the, step on, step on the,
When I say boom, 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 you say bam, bam, bam. No pause in between. Come on, let's jam. Step on the gas.
step on the gas,
Step on the brakes.
step on the brake,
Step on the brakes.
step on the, step, brake,
Step on the gas.
step on the, step, gas.
I'm glad you know which way to go, but it ain't gonna stop me. Here we go. Check and turn the signals to the right.
Check, turn, the signal to the check, right.
Now turn to the right.
Now turn to the, now right.
Check and turn the signals to the left.
Check, turn, signal to the check, turn, left.
Now turn to the left.
Now turn to the, now left.
Whoa, ho, ho, ho! Stop the car! We got an emergency, can't you see? Do you know why we stopped the car?
Do I know how we, do I know how we,
Yes.
What?
Do you know why we stopped the car?
Do I know how we stop, do I know how we stop,
Yes.
What?
I forgot to close the door.
You forgot, close.
Now just don't forget, this ain't kung fu. Come on again. Check and turn the signal to the right.
Check, turn, signal to the check, turn, signal right.
Step on the gas, now turn to the right.
Step on the gas, now turn to the, now turn right.
Check and turn the signal to the left.
Check, turn, signal to the check, turn left.
Step on the gas, now turn to the left.
Step on the gas, now turn to the, now turn left.
Step on the brakes.
Step on the step, brake.
Do you know why we stopped the car again?
Do I know how we stop, do I know how we,
That's because you just got your license. Woo-hoo! Yes!
Okay, here we are for the ace match between ReV and DM. Starting us off down here in the bottom right hand corner on the mainland. It's Whip again for DM. And his opponent spawning up here in the top left, also on the mainland. This is the first time in the STPL we've had two players spawning on the mainland at the same time. It's the Red Protoss player fighting for ReV. It's the player who won game 1. It's Aeternum. Yeah, just in case anyone is wondering, NetWars versus Wico is coming up after this as well, so... Okay, so the fact we've got both players spawning on the mainland is, as I said before, something we've not had in the STPL so far. It looks like Aeternum has got a sixth sense here. He is sending a very quick probe out to check for his opponent. Now, I genuinely thought we would have both players playing greenly. It looks like Whip is going to go for a very far forward barracks here. This is going to allow him to expand behind this. It's almost like both players know they're both on the mainland. It's really weird. Neither player is playing super greedy, going for like, well, it's not greedy on this map to go for a 14cc or a 12 nex. But I don't know. So we've got the probe and the SCV scouting each other. Both of them know now that they're on mainland together, so that's going to change the way this game is going. We're not going to have any player with no information. Both players are going to have the exact information they need. And this is so annoying to deal with as Terran. I am so triggered watching this. And yeah, this is the first time we're seeing ground versus ground on this map. I think even in the test tournament, I didn't see ground versus ground. I saw a lot of island versus island, and island versus mainland, but no ground versus ground. I do wonder what TvP is going to look like ground versus ground here, because this is the first time. I think this is actually one of our first TvPs here as well. Yeah, we've only had one TvP here. It was the TvP between DeWalt and Bradley that lasted 23 minutes. That was island versus mainland. So, we don't have much experience with TvP here, so it's going to be cool to see how this is going to play out. Whip is getting ready to expand with his good old SimCity over here. Going to build the bunker before the command center, knowing the fact there's a zealot coming. Very clever play, making sure not to die to the first zealot, which is probably one of the... It's going to sound so stupid, but the amount of times, especially when I was a brand new player, that I died to a single zealot is just embarrassing. The zealot can run by, but I don't think he's going to allow that to happen. Yeah, no, he's going to pull the SCVs to stop that happening, so nicely done. Okay, looks like when I press the mute button on my mic, it does something in Discord that I don't, not Discord, sorry, in OBS that I don't really want to repeat. I don't know what noise that plays. And yeah, Elfunk, unfortunately, this is the Protoss theme. If you've ever played any of the Warcraft games, the Protoss themes sound a lot like the Blood Elf themes. Is it Blood Elf or is it Night Elf? It sounds kind of Night Elfy. It's just elfy in general in the Warcraft universe. Yeah, I know who the Night Elf and Purple Elves are. I know who the Night Elf and Blood Elves are. Blood Elves are corrupted High Elves who started using Fel energy instead of Arcane energy, which is why their eyes are green and not blue. But, essentially, like, I'm not sure which of the themes it's more similar to. I'm fairly certain I worked it out last time and it's kind of similar to the Blood Elf themes. No, the Blood Elves are a faction as well. They're a Horde faction. Night Elves are factions. The High Elves aren't their own faction in WoW at least, but they are with the humans. Blood Elves aren't a faction in Warcraft 3 though, they're only a faction in, they didn't exist in the Warcraft lore until World of Warcraft. Well no, they existed because of the events of the Frozen Throne essentially. Because what happened was Arthas made a push and destroyed the Sunwell essentially, or like severed their link to the Sunwell and the energies from the Sunwell, which is why they lost their like status and become addicted to Fel energy, because they started getting energy from the Nether, not the Nether. Well, they did get it from Netherstorm, but it was from the Outlands. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been into Warcraft, but I do. If there's one thing I love about WoW, it's the lore. Like, the lore in the Warcraft universe is really, really cool. Sylvanas was a high elf, yes, and then she got killed by Arthas during that same engagement towards the Sunwell, and then got risen as a Banshee and became the Banshee Queen. But it looks like the first 3 tanks have killed the first Dragoon. That is definitely going to be a little bit of a benefit for Whip, as long as he repairs his tank. Because if he doesn't, he may lose it, and I don't want to see him lose any tanks, because that's always a sad day as a Terran. So far, given the fact we are on this map and they both scouted each other very early, it's looking like a fairly standard TvP. Looks like we are going to have a very fast push by Whip here. This could be a very strong timing actually. There's not really anything back defending, but this is a fairly straightforward run up to the other side of the map. Looks like the tank at the front going to get taken out immediately. Does need to pull that back, but does lose it. All of a sudden, the pushing power of this push is heavily diminished, losing a Vulture as well. Aeternum definitely doing a brilliant job defending this so far. The Marines aren't really that important. They're basically there to stop the Dragoons from killing the tanks. Like, if you lose all the tanks, you can't push. That's just it. Looks like Aeternum's doing an okay job, but there will be a tank on the high ground and he will have siege mode. I believe. It looks like he did go for Vulture speed to begin with, so no mines either. This is definitely a weird position. So he's got Vulture speed and siege mode, but no... Wait. Okay, mines just finished upgrading. I swear there was no mines a second ago, but this is a very, very nice timing anyway. We have the bunker coming up here next to the observatory. It's going to make it a little bit harder for Aeternum to push out this base. Obviously the mines helping defend the back line as well. It is a very thin back line given it is only a single tank, but that's enough to be able to hold on. It's 2 tanks at a time coming up. If he can reinforce this, he'll be in a pretty good spot. Now we do have the observatory going down, which is a fairly big deal. Like, you need observers. If you can get Scan as Terran and kill this observer over the bunker, all of a sudden mines are impossible to deal with. But looks like he is trying to build another bunker up here. And I think this is going to be the end of this push. Dropping his Marines out the board. The Marines that couldn't get in the bunker did fall out. A single Reaver going to help clean this up. And that's a lot of units lost by Whip. But now is the time for Aeternum. He can go for a counter here. There's not much back to defend. Thank you, Palm, for the sub, man. Means a lot. But there we go. So we've got 4 tanks back at home. Going for a 3rd base. But he will have to deal with the Reavers that's coming towards his base right now, because that is going to be a strong position to be in. Now, Observer coming in here with this as well. He doesn't want to drop on top of mines. Starport coming in with an engineering bay as well. And there we go. So it looks like the tank at the 3rd base is going to go down here. Not going to waste the Scarab on a single SCV. Not really worth the money. But he is going to be running straight into a Goliath here. So does want to be careful. Doesn't want to lose his shot, of course. The shot going to be very important. The Goliath going to survive because the Reaver could not shoot it. But there we go. One of those Scarabs is going to hit. The Reaver shot going to get quite low on health. Going to be flying dangerously close to a turret, but does get away. And there we go. Looks like we are going to have 6 Dragoons coming on here. Seeing if he can take on the 3rd base. Honestly, he should probably just go in. There's not actually that much defending. Although there are some tanks a little bit further back here that can shell a little bit. Is going to fly back home. He does have shuttle speed as well. Is going into his third base. Just to point out as well on this map, the third bases of mineral only when you're on an island, they are technically mineral only as well, but there's a relatively close one.
Yeah, hello everybody.
Thank you, Clarinet, for the sub as well. 8 months straight. Thank you so much. We've got all of the scanners coming in. Now, the one thing to note when you're on the mainland is there is a hive on top of your 4th base, which is your 3rd gas. So you do have to kill this if you want to take a 3rd gas. Terran will have exactly the same problem. There is another gas you can take, which is this base in the middle. It's quite hard to defend. We've not seen it held so far, but it is a very nice base, especially for Terran to take. Good to see you, Custom Use. TMSL4 today was really fun. Best versus Rush was a really good series. Best is such a good player though. I love Best so much. I watched it while I was working. It's the first time I've noticed it was on when I've been working, and I'm like, oh, I actually have time to watch. Yeah, it's 2-2 because Sandra didn't show up, possibly. It's because you scared him. You kept saying you're gonna kick his ass, and he was too worried about playing. But looks like we are gonna have the Dragoons actually blocked off by mines from behind here. Tanks gonna be sieging up at the front here. The tanks at the back gonna be in a very good position. The Dragoons trying to come in to reinforce, getting killed by mines. And this is looking like a very strong timing push by Whip here on +1 attack. Reavers coming out here killing the Goliaths. Now, if the Reavers can get in a good spot, he can kill all of the tanks, but it's going to be hard. But there are still a decent number of units back here. Looks like the shuttle is going to come in with some Zealot bombs here. Definitely going to be helping out. There's not too many tanks sieged at the back here. One of the Reavers goes down immediately, but not without taking a lot of the tanks with it. Mines once again causing problems, but does kill another tank with it. I mean, there are vultures in this 3rd base. They're not going to be doing too much damage. 4 probes have been killed so far, not getting the 5th. And it looks like Aeternum is actually going to try and expand down here to the bottom left-hand island. Now, we've not seen anything like that of the sort by Whip, but he is going for a dropship. So he is going to be able to deal with this fairly soon if he scouts it. One of the interesting things about this map, if you've not seen it before, I keep going on about how both players are on the mainland. That's because both of the other 2 expansions, the top right and bottom left hand spawns, are island bases. So essentially, when you're both on the mainland, they are both very strong bases and very hard to attack. So looks like Whip wanted to go and expand, but there is this hive that blocks a quick 3rd gas when you're on the mainland, which is one of the benefits of spawning on the island. We've got an empty dropship flying up to the top right hand corner. I thought that was a command center flying over, but it is going to be built here instead. Okay, a single vulture got into the main base. Didn't kill any probes, but does scout out things. And here we go, looks like we're going to have more Reavers being dropped. A nice Scarab on top of these 2 tanks, but Aeternum doesn't have that many units, does pull back without taking too much damage. Nicely done. 2 shuttles going to be killed here for free as well. This is definitely a mistake. Aeternum needed to pull those back. But Whip, if he wants to take a 4th base, is going to have to kill this hive. Unless he wants to take this base, which also requires him to kill a hive. So there we go. Looks like a lot of vultures moving around the top hand side of the circle in the middle. I don't think I missed too much because there wasn't many probe... Well, I don't think there was any probe kills based on the top right. There was a couple of mines, but they were laid before as well, so... Aeternum doing a pretty good job. Looks like Whip is going to go for this base. He's sending a lot of his army down here to kill this. Hives do have a ridiculous amount of health, so it does take a long time to kill this. There's no place as Terran you can build the command center on this base either. You kind of have to build it at your 3rd base here and then fly it over. I think you might be able to build here, I can't remember. But looks like we have a lot of scans coming down. Whip does not know about the 4th base of Aeternum right now. He does not know about this base. It's the one base he hasn't scanned. and that is going to cause a few problems. Now I can, there we go. So it's like, I can hear something being attacked by tanks. He's going to kill this hive and expand over to the top right hand corner. Now, interestingly, we have the same problem for both players. Whip has not checked the top right. Sorry, Whip has not checked the bottom left, and Aeternum hasn't checked the top right either. So neither player knows each other is expanding to the islands. They should know that that is the natural expansion pattern. Oh, looks like you can build there. So he's going to build the command center off position and float it onto the base. So Whip is going to be on a lot of bases soon. Okay, so we do have a big army here. +1 attack done for Aeternum. Whip is on 2-1. Heading up to 3-2, I would imagine. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 factories. No +3 attack just yet. So he is actually late on his upgrades. A little bit unfortunate there. But this is going to be a big important moment. A big engagement coming in over on the left-hand side as he pushes towards the Protoss of main here. Now, if Aeternum cannot deal with this, he doesn't have that many. Oh no, he didn't. That was basically all his tech units all dropping off in the worst possible location. No storms were able to be casted here. And I think Whip has probably won the game with this. This is very difficult to come back from. Of course, Whip cannot kill the bottom left. So if Aeternum can build some Stargates or something over there, he can still hold on. But he is in a lot of trouble. Like, oh my goodness, that mine just killed 6 Dragoons. Yeah, there was 3 High Templar there. All of them got sniped before any storms were casted. And when you play for this non-arbiter style, you have to hit storms. If you don't hit storms, it's pretty much game over. And I think this is what we're going to see here now. Aeternum going to hold on a nice couple of storms here. That's a very nice storm on the high ground. Wow. Very, very nice storm there. 7 kills on this High Templar. But just imagine if those storms had hit before. How does he get out of his base now to deal with this? The tanks killing a lot of probes. Aeternum's economy going to be struggling very, very much here. And oh my goodness, here we go. 2 tanks coming in here. One of them, or both of them actually going to go into the other main. He could siege one base and then siege the other one as well. Stargates were trying to be built over here. But unfortunately, I think this is just game over for Aeternum. He is checkmated here. It would take an absolute miracle to come back from this situation. And I think this is going to be game over. Whip is currently on 5 bases. 5th base just landing here. He's going up to +2 armor. Does he have another armory? No, he's actually just skipping +3 attack. He's like, okay, I'm just going to go for armor. I don't need attack right now. And there we go. GG. Aeternum taps out. Whip takes game number 5, giving the win to DM over ReV. And that's going to be their first win in Season 4 as well, which is really, really important for them. Okay, so there we have it. There are the results. Aeternum taking on Pre in game number 1. DY taking on Hirmu in Hirmu's cursed matchup. ZvT on game number 2. Whip taking on Via on game number 3. Narsel getting a walkover win over Sandra on game number 4. And then Whip taking a pretty convincing win over Aeternum on game number 5. So that is going to be us for this series. We will be back in just around 5 minutes. Just going to give my voice a break, get myself ready for the next series. It's NetWars versus Wico. It's coming up after this. See you guys soon.
おめでとう、アミティさん。
Every single day, stress comes in every way. I ain't got no time for nobody. My style is rich, dope, fat, and rich. We'll make a cake today that looks rich. Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack the egg into the bowl.
Crack, crack, crack egg into the bowl. Bowl.
M-I-X the flour into the bowl.
M-I-X and flour into the bowl.
Baking a cake, yes, means you gotta try. I'm doing this for years, but don't ask me why. Butter, butter, butter joins the bowl.
Butter, 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 butter joins the bowl.
You're making us a cake that you've never seen before.
Make us a cake that never seen before. Make us a
Heat up the oven, now we're on a roll.
heat up the oven. Now we roll.
Cheap, cheap, cheap's the name of my soul.
Cheap, 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 cheap. Name your soul.
The other day, I was called a little turkey, but I'm a chicken, got it? Your beef jerky. Put the cake in the oven for a while.
Put cake oven for a while.
Leave it there, come on, clean the pile.
Leave there, come, clean, pie.
Put the cake in the oven for a while.
Put cake oven for a while.
Leave it there, come on, clean the pile.
Leave it there, come on, clean, pie.
Here, I got a little sample.
Here, I don't have a
Cause ample time's just what we don't have.
Cause money time's just what we don't have. Cause money
The
is
chicken in the kitchen is making all the sound. The cake is done while we were sitting around. All we gotta do is apply the final touches.
all we gotta do is apply final touch. All we gotta do is
Take out the shrimp, the clam, and the perches.
take out the shrimp, clam, and the perch. Take out the
perch goes here, the clam goes there.
perch goes here, the clam goes there, the clam.
The little tiny shrimps just go everywhere.
The little tiny strip just goes everywhere.
Whatever you likes in the middle, fiddle.
Whatever you like, whatever in the middle, fiddle.
Seafood cake comes just like the riddle.
Seafood comes just like riddle.
Okay, that wasn't so hard, was it?
No problem. But how'd you get out the TV?
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be going into our second series. This one is going to be NetWars, starting us off here. They're doing pretty well in this season, 3-for-1 so far. They have some very strong players on their roster today, Ziggy and kogeT featuring, along with Zoom and Venom, who called himself Venom King of everything. Zoom did sub in for 0. That is why we've got Zoom today, and Venom subbed in for Yeti, if I remember correctly. Something came up for both of them at the last minute, but it was the first week back after Christmas. That's why things, at least from the team perspective, were maybe a little bit off, just because obviously there was a 2-week break. The first week back after the break is always bad, so it's all good. We've had some good games so far. We're going to hopefully have a good series here. The next team we're going to have is, of course, going to be Wico. Wico, one of our newer teams for Season 3. We've seen some of their players last a lot in Season 4. We saw last a lot in Season 3 because he played for Valhalla team. But here he is again. He's at 16 for 4. Definitely the strongest player in Wico that we've got in the STPL, I would say. The Soul Match custom use is on Sunday, and it's actually around 8:30 PM your time. So it's going to be pretty good. I'm casting the Monday cast on Sunday this week, just because I didn't want to cast on Monday. But Wico have done pretty well. They're both on 3-for-1, so this is a very, very important match for them. It could change their seeding later on in the tournament. It's not going to be casted at 5 AM. It's 8:30 PM your time, and it is at 11:30 my time. So I'm casting in the morning for me this week, which is a difference, because I don't want to cast on Sunday evening, basically. I thought I'd cast at a different time just to see what it's like. See a cast from a different angle. I don't usually cast first thing in the day. Korea is +8 to CET. Oh, ASTL is on then. Oh, damn, I forgot about that. Oh well. Oh well. That's my fault. I've inadvertently done that, but I'd be clashing with something else anyway. So if no one watches, no one watches. Everyone can watch the VOD on Twitch or YouTube anyway. And the matches we're going to have a TvZ between Ziggy and 973. We're going to have a ZvP between Zoom and Speed, a TvP between kogeT and ParkJi, and a PvP between Venom and Last, because of course, it's not STPL without a PvP. Okay, so let's get into introducing our first match. Ziggy, of course, a good player. 973, a good player as well, but we'll go into Tears of Goddess. So it is our second TvZ we've had here so far. Tarson did beat Squall on this map. It was a relatively quick game, so we could see that happening again as we get into game number 1. Okay, starting us off here in the top right hand corner, fighting for NetWars, it's Ziggy. And I think Ziggy subbed in for Tarson as well, if I remember rightly. It was a bit weird for NetWars this weekend. And then spawning us down here in the bottom left hand corner in the magenta, fighting for Wico, it's 973. Okay, so if you've never seen this map before, it's kind of a little bit like Luna. I mean, it's very, very similar to Luna. It's kind of like a modern day Luna, essentially. So that's definitely where Gosomi, I think, got his inspiration for this map. This is a brand new map for the STPL Season 4. It was one of the map contest finalists, so that's why it got put in. It's led to some pretty good games so far, but looks like, I mean, we've not really had too many games on it. We're going to have a lot of games this week and next week, so, well, possibly next week, depending on if we get any ace matches. But the 4-player maps have definitely seen a little bit less play this season, just because there were so many 2-player maps that got in. So you see a lot more 2-player maps in Season 4, but the weird thing is, you would have thought with more 2-player maps, the series would be quicker. And we've actually had a lot of longer series because of the 2-player maps, which is kind of strange. Like, you think of 4-player maps in historical Brood War, and you have like these long, arduous macro fests with both players splitting the map halfway, and then like both players like beating into each other over and over again, but that's not really been happening. It's been happening more on 2-player maps, which is just odd. There's a lot of sirens going on outside. I don't know what the hell's going on today, but at least it's not like in my old house. Now you, now like when the sirens go past, you guys can't hear them. The only reason why you know about them is because I bring them up every time. Now we do have the first factory coming in, so we are going to have a tech build coming in from Ziggy. Not going to go for a 1-rax fast expand like we saw Whip go for in the previous series. Lair coming up already, so 2 hatch lair for 973. Now Ziggy stopped mining gas, so he is going to be expanding behind the 1 factory. But there was a big part of me that was wondering if he was going to go for 2-port Wraith, but given the fact he's not mining the gas, that means we won't see that now. Is he going to build his command center before or after a starport here? It's going to be before. Going to go for a single vulture as well, so there are a few different openings you can go for in TvZ from this. You've got the option of going for a starport quite early. You can go for a quicker armory and go for Valkyries. If you go for a starport, you can go for Wraiths. You can go for vulture speed mines off of 2 factories. There's so many options for Terran off of the back of going for a single vulture. And obviously the vulture helps stop scouting, it also helps you put pressure on. It forces this sunken colony from 973. He doesn't necessarily want to build it. He's He's building his spire as part of the wall. Now, if Ziggy switches and goes for bio behind this, that spire is dead. You cannot hold on to that spire. But looks like Ziggy is going to be going for the armory, so he is going to be going for the Goliath follow-up here. And even then, there's different Goliath follow-ups. You can go for 3 factories and go for a 3rd base. You can go for 5 factories and go for a timing attack. Or you can go for 4 factories, do a sort of slightly less powerful timing, but it still keeps the Zerg on their toes, and you can still expand behind that as well. So, mech, definitely one of my favourite openings in TvZ for sure. I know that's a little bit controversial. If I said that in like 2000, well, I mean, I did say that in 2009 on Team Liquid, and I said it in 2010 because Fantasy was my favourite player. And everyone used to just say, mech is trash, it's boring, no one likes mech, everyone likes bio. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. It was rough days, the Wild West of Team Liquid, when everyone just insulted each other all the time. That was before StarCraft 2, and then all the people that used to insult everyone, minus a couple of people who stayed in the Brood War community, all left and went to play StarCraft 2. So the Brood War community kind of got A lot smaller, but B, it got a lot more civilized for a while. At least on TL anyway. Okay, +1 carapace coming in immediately for 973. He does have his hatchery as part of this wall as well. That's going to help him defend a little bit later on when the timing attack does eventually come out. Turrets coming on in already. We've got 3 turrets in the main. The 4th one here helping defend the factories, as well as 2 in the natural as well. Now when you go for mech, you need a lot of turrets. Obviously, it's not Luna. It is a map that's very similar to Luna though. It's kind of like a modern imagining of Luna. Not exactly the same, but there we go. But basically, when you're going mech, the minerals are not super important. Just not dying to mutalisks is more important. So, building a lot of turrets, not the end of the world for Ziggy here. If you were going bio, this is definitely not something you want, but Goliaths, especially in low numbers early on, before you get +1 attack, and he's not gone for +1 carapace either, they don't really deal with Muteless very well, so you need the turrets to help that out. The bunker going to be helping too, but he's only got a single marine. Looks like 973 built some Scourge just in case he was up against Valkyries. He's not technically scouted the number of factories yet, so he doesn't know what he's up against. And he's just kind of playing a little bit safer back at home. But the first set of Goliath's going to move out. Nice. We have Burrow here from 973. This is going to give him a lot of scouting information. Looks like we've got a lot of overlords just dotted around the map as well, looking for dropships, looking for anything that could cause him trouble. And he is going to see that that is not the case. Now the Goliaths do get a nice pick off on one of the Muteless there. That's kind of annoying for 973, but once again, not the end of the world. 3rd factory coming in for Ziggy. I think we are going to see Ziggy go for an expansion behind this. Although he is going to go up to 4 factories, so ignore everything I'm saying. He could add a 5th as well if he wanted to, but I think going for the 5th factory now is a little bit late. You kind of need to be getting ready to push with 5 factories already as the 3rd gas comes up. And 973's 3rd gas should be already up by the time the 5 hack can push. But look at that Burrowed Ling, it's so cool. The Muteless flying in, not getting too many kills. Actually losing a lot of health, losing 2 Muteless there to just turrets. Definitely not something you want to deal with. And yeah, this was a map built with a lot of respect for Luna. So it's very, very similar. It's kind of like Luna with a slightly different center. The center, if anything, is more choked up than Luna was. So it's going to be kind of cool to see how this goes. Now the Muteless coming in here, getting 4 SCVs possibly there. I think it was 3. Not taking too much damage on them, but you can see the Goliaths are having to move back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And while he's doing this, he's unable to push. And now this is one of the downsides of going for 4 fact rather than 5. But Ziggy should really be looking towards getting a 3rd base soon, because he cannot allow himself to get too far behind. The armory's coming up. We've got the academy coming in fairly late. You get the academy late with mech anyway, but even then this feels a little bit later than maybe what you'd want. You do need scans to know what your opponent's doing. Now a lot of SCVs going down there to the Muteless. The Muteless of course taking a lot of damage though, pulling back. This is going to give him advantage over Ziggy. You can see he's already up 12 drones over the 28 SCVs. But Ziggy has a good army, and the main army for 973 so far has been those Muteless, which are heavily damaged. We had a Hydra Den coming in, which has now been cancelled. So he's going to continue to go for mass Muteless here. And we should see a Queen's Nest coming up fairly soon as well, I would imagine. +2 Carapace coming in as well. It'll be very, very good. Yeah, someone brought up the point of there was no gas on the 3rd in Luna. There is gas here, so the 3rd's a little bit easier to deal with. It's not really too much further than like La Mancha, so it's not too hard to expand. It looks like Ziggy is going to try and go for a counter. The turret's not being repaired back at home, so he is going to lose a decent number of SCVs here. Not before the mutants take a bunch of damage. One of the turrets still alive somehow. There we go. Does go down, not without losing another Mutalisk. And this is going to be a problem. 2 tanks here are going to be able to deal with the sunken colonies. You can see more creep colonies being added on. This is going to be a game of distractions here because there's not too many Mutalisks. There's definitely not enough Mutalisks here to deal with the number of Goliaths there are. But looks like Ziggy playing a little bit careful. Doesn't want to waste his units. Doesn't want to throw the game away. There are 3 Sunkens at this base as well. So he's definitely playing the waiting game. Gonna go for the 4th base instead. Kind of important to stop this getting 4 gas, but we do have another base coming up in the top left hand corner. Now we do have a decent number of Mutalisks now. There is 2 control groups of them. Ziggy doesn't have that many turrets back in his main base. There's no Goliaths back here defending. And Ziggy is very low on workers still. He needs Valkyries or he needs vessels. And the science facility has been blocked so far. So many SCVs are getting killed here. And this is going to be a lot of damage. The Goliaths are nowhere near home. And I think this could be one of the big problems here for Ziggy. I think this could be the name of the coffin. And there we go. GG. Ziggy taps out. 973 takes game number 1. And we'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 2. Thank you, BlackmanPL, for the raid. Or yeah, that was a raid. Thank you for the raid. We'll be back in just a few minutes with game number 2. It's going to be a ZvP, so don't go anywhere. Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number... What game number is this? This is game number 2. It's Zoom versus Speed. It's on Blindside. Let's get into it. Okay, starting us off here in the 12 o'clock position in the yellow, we do have Speed fighting for Wico. And then spawning down here in the 6 o'clock position in the green, fighting for NetWars, Zoom. Now Zoom, in case you've never seen him before, is a member of the ZvZ clan with Zero, and who was the other guy? No, I don't think Zoom is the clan leader. There was another one who was the clan leader who was like ZvZ something. Maybe he was just called ZvZ, I can't remember. But either way, he's one of Zero's old clanmates. He's Polish as well, so he is here fighting for NetWars. This is Blindside. The reason why it's called Blindside is there is this forest, or the vision blockers in the forest, which means you're blind essentially. Really, really fun 2-player map. It was featured in Custom Use Star League Season 4 as well. I don't think there was too many games on this map yet, but it's not a big deal. The games we've had in the STPL have been really fun here, so I'm hoping we're going to have another fun one as we get into it. But we've got a Forge Fast Expand most likely coming up for Speed. The Forge coming in. He did of course send his probe back, which usually means you're going to do that. Oh no, he sent his probe forward, which means you're probably going to Forge Fast Expand. It obviously does give you the ability to cannon rush a fast expand attempt by Protoss, or by Zerg even. It also allows you to block the hatchery, so Zoom doing his best here to actually chase down this probe. He really doesn't want to get his hatchery blocked, and he's still going to get it blocked anyway. Oh, Speed being really dirty here. I hate watching that. I love it because I love Zerg suffering, but I don't know. It feels so dirty when you see a Protoss just build a pylon. It's like, yeah, this doesn't cost me anything. I'm just gonna cancel it. It's gonna cost me like 15 minerals or something. I don't know how much it costs, but it's like really worth it because Zerg all of a sudden have to build their third hatchery away from where they want to, or their second hatchery away from where they want to. It kind of forces them into 3-hatch play. We do have a gateway and a cannon coming up. This is actually quite a nice wall here by Speed, showing that he's practiced this map. Very nice to see. Third hatchery coming in here now. I do wonder if Zoom is going to go for a 3-hatch Hydra Bust. Wico especially have been known to be a very aggressive playing clan. They play a lot of like aggressive builds. Some may say they're very cheesy. But in the STPL they've kind of not shown that as much. I mean, some weeks they do. Some weeks they just like end all their games in like 5 minutes. Other weeks they have like really long games, so So as we get further into this game, looks like Speed is getting ready to go into a Stargate. He's going to go Stargate before Citadel. Very, very standard play in the modern meta. You can obviously go for faster DTs, but especially on a map where all your bases as Zerg are quite close together, it's very likely you'll have an Overlord in place to be able to defend them, so not the best choice to go for fast DTs here, but we've got Hydra Speed coming in first. He's not going to go for like the crazy wall bust that you can do with Hydra range first, so that's something. +1 attack coming in quite late here for Speed though, so that does have a chance of being taken down. Probe, very, very nicely done job scouting by Speed so far as well. Keeping an eye on everything that's going on up until when his Corsair gets there. Hydra range should come up almost immediately after this. There we go. I think Zoom is going to start flooding Hydras here. That's what it looks like. That's what it feels like here, but he's still not actually building anything. There we go. He is going to start flooding Hydras. So it is going to be a 3-hatch Hydra burst. This is only 4 drones at the natural. There are 6 drones here, so it is essentially a 9-7-3, although there's 10 drones here. So it's a 10-4-6. That's not really a build, but it's still a 3-hatch Hydra burst. He does have a decent economy to back it up though, so it's not fully all in. He does have the option of going for a 4th base as well, so he has built a good number of links. Let's see if he can use these to break the wall. Obviously, if he can get on top of the cannons, it's pretty much game over. But there is a lot of zealots here, so they should be able to defend against this. There's Zergling should be a decent buffer for the Hydras as well, if the Hydras want to get in and start attacking the Forge. And this Forge should go down before he can finish +1. And that's actually a really good timing. Oh, did he kill one of his own Hydras there? I feel like he did. Would that be enough to save the Forge? There's still a lot of Hydras coming across the map, but could that actually be enough to save the Forge? Is he gonna save +1? No, there's no way he saves +1 here, right? The Zealot's doing a very, very good job. The Corsair taking out the Overlord in his main. He did go for a scout, now knows he just has to keep the Zerg play down. But looks like the Forge +1 is going to be cancelled. It will go down. There is a decent number of cannons here, so it's certainly not the end of the world here for Speed. He's in a very good defensive position. And now it's going to be up to Zoom to see whether or not he wants to all in here, because if he does, he's not built a drone in a long time, so he's definitely building a lot of Hydras, but against that many cannons, that is when you've got to start to realize that it's probably not the best thing to do. We already saw a second Forge get built up here, which is a good move. We saw those cannons must have finished, or it started just as the Forge died. Yeah, looks like Zoom. Still no 4th base. Still no additional drones. I think he's going to start going in. Yeah, he's going to start going into drones now. The 4th hatchery not going to be built at a 4th base here. Thank you, Elgri, for the sub on Patreon and the 50 cents on Matrino. By the way, a massive shout out to our sponsors, Esport Fund, for donating $1,000 towards the prize pool, as well as Matrino, who have given us a ton of codes that you guys can enter for free over at matrino.com/tournaments. The link's in chat. If you enter the code STPL Season 4 or STPL S4, you can add 50 cents to the prize pool completely free. Courtesy of Matrino, and he did cancel +1. It didn't finish, so he cancelled it. I think you get the same amount of money back if I remember rightly, but yeah, we've got 2 Forges up here now. He is actually going for +1 attack again. We do have the High Templar ready and willing and waiting as well. Storm, I believe, is done. Yeah, Storm must be done at this point. There we go. Oh my god, that Storm is dirty. That was a nasty Storm right there. That was so many Hydras. Oh my goodness. Yeah, our current prize pool goal for Season 2 is $2,000. If we can make that, we will match the prize pool of Season 1. But also, if we make it to $3,000, I will free the Dodal and make everyone happy. So if you want to help free the Dodal, you got to get us to the $3,000 mark. $2,000 will go into this season's prize pool, and $1,000 will go to next season as well. So that'll put us on a very good start, because hopefully we'll still get continued Esport Fund support next season as well. That's the reason why I'm doing it. I know if Red T45 was in chat right now, he'd be like, "You're keeping the Dodal hostage. You can't do that. That's greedy." But at the end of the day, I'm doing it to put more money into the STPL, so there we go. Okay, so that Corsair does get away with an inch of its life. We do have a Spire coming in. So this is the tech from Zoom. Basically, everything from Zoom is a lot later than he wants it to be. And that's essentially because he went for that all-in that didn't work. So that means speed is going to be in a pretty good position. Of course, +1 is not done, so these Zealot run-bys are not going to do nearly as much damage as they could do. But it's going to keep Zoom on his toes. Zoom going to go up to 4 bases over here. Corsair going to come back out, see if he can find that Stray Overlord. No, he sees it. There we go. He's going to kill. Oh, he's not going to kill it because of the Hydras. Oh my goodness, that Overlord is the luckiest Overlord right now. And that is the unluckiest Corsair. Okay, that is a really, really cool... That is a really cool I don't know what you call them. Tile. What did Freakling call them? They're obviously tiles, but there's a specific word for the decorative tiles, and I can't remember what it is. That looks like a missile launch site more than a helipad. I mean, there's no helicopters in the StarCraft universe, so I don't think they'd need it. And I don't think any of the planes that Terran have would land vertically. Maybe dropships, actually. Dropships would probably land vertically. A doodad, that's it, thank you. That was a nice storm, but the Mulus just went, no, I'm not going to fly into it. This is definitely going to cause a lot of trouble. You need those storms, you need those High Templar. There's a lot of High Templar here, but so many of them are going down. The Mulus have been worth their weight in absolute gold. And nearly every single storm was taken out here. And this means that the Hydras coming in can do a lot of damage. And looks like Zoom is getting ready to push in. Can he win the game? But no, there's a big storm on those back Hydras. And Zoom's attack is not gonna work. Do dad, not do that. What is the keys again? I've completely forgotten all the keys. I've forgotten everything. My brain has been mush today, but we're getting through it. But that is definitely a missile launch silo. That's actually Radley's hidden base. That's where he keeps all his nukes. That's where his nuclear stockpile is, because he's refusing to nuke until the Dodal is freed. So there we go. I guess that's what we're going to have. But Corsair's coming in. All of a sudden, Speed's army is massive. He lost a ton of gas in those High Templar. But it's not the end of the world, because all of a sudden there's not many Hydras anymore. And it looks like he's going to come in on this third base. Let's see how much damage he can do. There is a High Templar back here with one single storm. Can he make the storm count? Can he kill this army? There is the storm. It's not the best one. And it doesn't look like he's going to be able to stand up to Speed's army here. If we have a look at the supply again, we've got the Protoss doubling the supply of the Zerg. And when that happens, you know that you're in a bad position here. Zoom is in a lot of trouble. He's on 4 bases, but he's only on 60 supply, and only 20 of that is fighting units, and not even that anymore. The Corsairs coming in, going to clean up a lot of the Overlords, possibly even supply blocking Zoom. And I think this is going to be the end of the game. There is absolutely nothing Zoom can do to hold on to this. He's down to 13 supply, 14 supply in army units, and there we go. GG, Zoom taps out. Speed takes game number 2 and takes Wico up 2-0. It will be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 3. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3 in this series. It's kogeT versus ParkJi. It's a TvP, and it's going to be here on Pathfinder. Oh my god, we finally have the Terror music. We've had 3 Terrans and I've not had Terror music once, but now we've finally got it. We're in here. Hell yeah. Okay, so it's going to be a TvP, starting us off down here in the bottom left hand corner in the red, fighting. Wait, is this a TvT? It's a TvT! I thought ParkJi was Protoss for some reason. I have no idea why, but it's a TvT, even better. That's the only reason why we've got Terran music, because we've got a TvT. So ParkJi starting in the red, and down here in the bottom right in the brown, fighting for NetWars. It is kogeT, the Polish powerhouse himself, fighting for NetWars. Okay, so this is game number 3. If kogeT cannot win here, Wico will take the series 3-0. All or nothing here for kogeT, but if there's one person who's going to be able to take a TvT for his team, it's going to be the Polish powerhouse. He's played 18 TvTs throughout the course of the STPL. He's only lost 2 of them, giving him a massive 88% win ratio against Terran. When you look at the all-time streak for Terran versus Terran, kogeT is at 14-0. It's not ongoing because he did lose one of his TvTs recently against Hero, but he won 14 TvTs in a row, which is absolutely ridiculous. And that's going to be a tough act to follow. ParkJi, this is his first game in the STPL, and he has a lot to live up to, but both players starting off with a barracks. We've got ParkJi going for a gas, whereas kogeT is going to go for a 1 racks fast expand. Very, very strong, solid build on Pathfinder. And it gives you a lot of options to follow up with as well. I mean, so does Factory First, but Factory First is kind of it's not really that great economically, and it's kind of hoping that your opponent is doing the same thing. You can go for 2 fact in TvT as well, but it's not that great. There are timings as well where you can go for 1 racks, 1 port, 1 fact as well. So that's another thing we could look out for. 2 port Wraith, obviously a big strong build on this map as well. ParkJi will have to see if he pulls off of gas, because if he doesn't, we know he's going for a starport. He's not pulled off of gas just yet, so starport will be coming up after this factory. Could even be 2 ports here, and that is going to be in the 1 racks fast expand by kogeT. Is going to be looking even tastier, because it's very difficult for 2 port Wraith to work against someone who has a good economy, because Wraiths do take a long time to kill SCVs. You can lose a lot of SCVs on 1 racks fast expand to 2 port Wraith. Oh my god, it's actually a 2 fact. Is he going 2 fact into dropship, or is he just going 2 fact tank? I guess he's going 2 fact tank here. Now that is a very weird style. You could go for 2 factory vulture with double upgrades, but kogeT's gonna see this. Like, if this SCV gets past this marine, it's essentially the end of this build, because kogeT is gonna build a bunker at the front. He's gonna wall in, which he already has done, and all of a sudden any vulture builds are not gonna work. And there we go, he's going for speed vultures. How do they get in through this gap? You can build a supply depot here and it walls it in. Now, one benefit is if you go for a starport, you can obviously drop into the main base, but we're not going to see that. And I mean, kogeT is in an incredible position right now. Like, everything that could go well is going perfectly for him. The king of TvT, like, I think without a doubt, kogeT has more TvT wins in the STPL than any other player. This is arguably the most accomplished TvT player in the STPL overall. Obviously you do have Scan as well, but he doesn't seem to play as many Terrans. He usually ends up playing TvP instead. me double check that actually. Yeah, so Scan has played... I can't remember what order that's in. So, okay, bottom right we do have the starport, so it is going to be a drop into the main. That is a very, very strong option. If kogeT does not defend against this, he is going to have vultures dropping into his main, which he definitely doesn't want to have to deal with. 4 vultures can be deadly in TvT. They're more deadly than wraiths are because it only takes 3 vulture shots to kill an SCV. So with 4 of them, you're guaranteed a kill every single shot. And the dropship also gives you the ability to airlift tanks over behind the natural here to siege up. But he is continuing to go for mass vulture at the moment. A lot of mines being placed out at the front. This could lure kogeT into a false sense of security. He is going to wall in here. And kogeT's first factory only just finished recently, so he's only got a single tank. kogeT's starport is going to see this drop coming in. But is he going to be able to defend against this? This is a lot of vultures. The SCVs, look at the speed of that pull away. Oh my goodness. Very, very nicely done by kogeT. Not going to be losing any SCVs over here. He could lose this one here, but he's got a siege tank now. The SCVs are going to help wall off the vultures from being able to get here. But look at this, he's going to drop into the natural. This is another strong move. A very, very cool build, tailored specifically for this map. I love seeing games like this, but look at this. The Wraith coming out, going to cause a lot of problems. I don't even know why he bothered airlifting the vultures out. He loses the Wraith. Oh, wow, look at this. kogeT cancels the second Wraith. He's like, I killed your dropship, I don't need it anymore. I'm going to take the gas. I'm going to probably add another couple of factories when he has the minerals. I mean, the one bonus that ParkJi did get out of this is kogeT was stopped from being able to essentially do what he wanted. He couldn't mine off of a lot. Like, he couldn't mine off of both of his bases for a little bit. Look at this, 2 wraiths. The tanks are coming out here, and he's got nothing that can shoot up. The tank's gonna go down. There's a siege tank here as well. Like, this is going to do absolutely nothing. This is game over. This is checkmate. And the player doing the checkmating, all he's done so far is castled his king. And he's going to win the game because of it. Essentially, he's castled his king, and the opponent has moved his king into the line with the rook in. Like, that's basically what's happened. Okay, the second Wraith is coming out. To be honest, if you're going to do this anyway, I think you should probably keep the Wraith that you lost before. But he is going to try and build turrets back at home. There's still no third base, or still no second base here for ParkJi. He does have Goliaths coming in, which is going to help him, but Cloak is done. So he's not going to be in a very good position in the middle of the map now. He is going to go for a push around the back side of the base. kogeT's starport is going to see this here. And there's no turrets just yet, so if kogeT pulls back in time, he is going to be able to defend against this. And look at this, tanks already getting into position to defend against this. Starport flying over. Let's zoom out just a little bit, just so we can see what's going on. And ParkJi doesn't have any vision. He's got no vision over the minerals. Like, look at this, he can't see what's happening. And that is a very sad state of affairs. All 3 tanks die, the turrets are going to die, and GG. ParkJi taps out NetWars. kogeT keeps the dream alive for NetWars in the series. And that's going to take us into game number 4 when we get back after this short break. See you guys soon.
I need to go just as bad as you. What I had this morning, I don't even want to say to you. Kick, punch, turn, and chop the door.
Kick, punch, turn, shut door.
Or I will fall to the floor.
Or I will fall to the floor. I fall to the floor.
Kick, punch, turn, and chop the door.
Kick, punch, turn, shut door.
Or I will fall to the floor.
Or I fall to the floor. Or I fall.
No way. I've been sitting in my car, yes, now for days. Did you check the toilets on the right?
Did check the toilet on did check, right?
Did you check the toilets on the left?
Did check the toilet on did check, left.
Did you check the toilets on the right?
Did check toilets on? Did check the right?
Did you check the toilets on the left?
Did check toilet on? Did check toilet on left?
Okay, you win.
Ribbit, I can't hold it. Last toilet with me up, me already sold it. In the rain or in the snow, I got the funky flow, but now I really got to go.
In the rain or in the snow, you got the funk flow, you got the funky, but now you really got it up. But now
The toilet over there will bring you luck, so give up, I got no time to spare.
the toilet over there will bring up the toilet. So give up, I got time to spend. I got no.
In the rain or in the snow, I got the funky flow, but now I really got to go.
In the rain or in the snow, you got the funk flow, but now
The toilet over there will bring you luck, so give up, I got no time to spare.
the toilet over there will bring up the toilet there. So give, I got time to spend. I got time to.
I'm me losing up, I'm out of here.
Walk the walk, even if you can't just talk the talk. I got a call. I am a chicken from the kitchen, and I ain't kidding, although nothing is written.
You sick from kids and you hit on and you not written nothing. You are sick from not written nothing. You are sick nothing and you ain't.
Crack, break, fix the door, you know. I gotta go, so yes, open up, you know.
Crack, break, fix, I got go open, you know. Crack, break, fix, I got open, I got go open, I got it.
I am a chicken from the kitchen, and I ain't kidding, although nothing is written.
You sick from and you hit on not written nothing. You are sick and you hit and not written. You are and you nothing. You are and you nothing is.
Crack, break, fix the door, you know. I gotta go, so yes, open up, you know.
Crack, I got open, I got the crack, break, fix the open, I got go, crack, open, you know. I got go, open up.
It's all yours.
Ah, this is life.
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 4 here between Wico and NetWars. NetWars are currently 1-2 down. They need to win this game if they want to stay alive in the series. And it's going to be a tough one. It's a 2-player map. Looks like Last is already doing something a little bit unexpected. He is going for a center gate here. Could this be the world's quickest game in the STPL history? It's very possible. But starting us off here in the top left-hand corner, we do have the red Protoss player fighting for NetWars. It's Venom. And spawning over here in the top right, already sending his probe out, is going to be Last fighting for Wico. Here we have the pylon outside of Venom's base. This is very indicative of what's coming up next. There is probably going to be one, well, there's at least going to be one gateway. He could go for a second gate as well. 2 gate is considerably more all in than 1 gate. 1 gate is like, okay, I want to do a little bit of damage, but if it doesn't work, it's fine. I'm still alive. Now Venom is scouting already, but he does not scout the proxy location, and that could be a big problem. He does walk over the STPL logo. Very nicely placed there by Minerals. I do love that. But let's turn Last Vision back on again. The probe comes back in for another scout from the middle of the map, so he's showing that he's scouting at normal timing. It's a single gate against a single gate, so it's not the end of the world as I mentioned before. But if he can build a pylon here, if he had like a forge back in his main base and cannon rushed, that would be very clever. Yeah, this is technically the first STPL branded map in history, and it's not a map that was made for another tournament and someone just edited, well, Freakling just edited the logo in. This is a brand new map for a tournament. It's kind of cool. Feels pretty good. I also feel even more like, okay, admittedly there I'm talking about the BSL logos, but I feel a little bit off about what they did there because they didn't get permission from the map makers. But like the original map maker to put the BSL logo in, I don't think. which feels a little bit off for me. That's why I did the STPL map contest, so we could get some like official STPL maps. Here we go, the first zealot is coming in. The mana pylon has been killed, and Venom is actually quite a bit behind now, not only in workers but also in supply. Although he does have the second gateway against just one, so... Last still hasn't done a huge amount of damage. He's just kind of riding the fact he has the quicker zealot, which is helping him out, but it's not the end of the world here for Venom. He's not lost a single probe so far, which would mean... Oh, there we go, he loses one. Cast a curse, he's going to lose another one now as well. Does lose one of his zealots though. There's no pylon here, so no shield battery to help shore up this attack. But not too sure. Dizzy says, why are you so awesome? Well, thank you very much. I don't know. I think you may need to go to like an optician though if you think I'm awesome. I always have like a lot of trouble taking compliments, so it does mean a lot. Thank you so much. I always feel like people are joking when they give me a compliment. It's not good. Having like anxiety problems is... I wouldn't recommend it. Like don't do it if you don't have to. Okay, but looks like we do have more zealots killing more probes. It's 19 probes against 12. This engagement has stopped for now, but there is 3 zealots running across the map here. There's 2 gateways already back at home though. And thank you Post 4K. I can't believe like someone actually watched me when I was casting with Sail. I can't believe how long ago that was now as well. Oh my goodness. Sail has been gone for like 3 or 4 years. Like how insane is that to think about? But it's 4 zealots against 3. Venom wanted to go for a counter. But unfortunately for him, there's already zealots back at home. And there's still zealots coming into his base. So he is going to be very confused at where this gateway is right now. Yeah, this Sail did do this before as well. Like, Sail did this a long time ago, and then he randomly appeared and started casting the TL Opens again, which is when I started casting with him, because Whiplash and Elegant both stopped, but Last getting another probe here, oh my goodness. It's been a massacre of probes, another Zealot coming in as well, he's just not stopped. The Zealots are going to be able to finally find this gateway. Venom is going to be like, oh, that's where the Zealots have been coming from. Sail isn't dead, no, but he does every once in a while just disappear. So the way I explained this before is Sail is essentially Foreign Brood War Batman. He's the hero we need, but not right now. Like, at least I don't think he's dead. I hope he isn't. I don't know where he is. No one knows, or no one seems to know where he is, but when this happened before, he came back and he said he got really busy with work and he had to just disappear. But basically with Sail, like, when the Foreign Brood War scene is doing well, which it is at the moment, he disappears forever. And then as soon as it starts dying, he comes back and starts doing tournaments again. Like when he first started casting again in 2016, there wasn't really any tournaments other than HavatU. Then Clash for Char started up, BSL started back up again, HavatU continued. And yeah, he started the TL Open, got people interested in Brood War again. Did his bit, casted the Clash for Char with me for a while, and then disappeared. The one thing I am sad about is the Italian Open, the ESL one. I got invited to cast with Sail, and I was really excited to do it, but I couldn't get a passport in time. And that was so devastating. Oh my goodness. I really wanted to go cast that, but then kogeT went to cast it with him, so there we go. Sail was kind enough to get me Firebat Hero's autograph as well. I need to find that and frame it. I've got it somewhere in my house. You need a passport to leave the UK and to go into Italy. You can't fly without a passport. Even though there was visa-free travel in the EU before Brexit, obviously. And there still is, but you need 90 days. You still need a passport. We weren't technically in Schengen either, so we didn't have true freedom of movement, which makes the whole Brexit thing even more annoying. But either way, we did have a bit of an engagement there between Venom and Last. Last does hold on to his base. Venom is going to fall back and expand himself as well. I think if you're in the Schengen and you're not flying, so if you're like driving around, I think you can just drive wherever you want in Europe if you're in Schengen. I don't think you need a passport to enter Europe if you're on the Schengen agreement. But the UK, so I'm gonna explain this, but essentially the UK had pretty much the best deal in the EU. We had basically none of I mean, there's no detriments anyway. But yeah, like, we had like a seat at the table of the European Union, which we've just thrown away when we had basically none of the rules and all of the benefits. Like, it's really crazy. Our country, or my country, is so stupid. I can't believe it. I'm still dumbfounded, but just while this game's in a bit of a lull, I'm going to explain this just because it's hilarious. There was a news article done by the BBC after the Brexit referendum when Brexit was decided on. And this Scottish woman came out and said, I voted for Brexit for my grandchildren. Things are going to be so great now. We're taking back sovereignty, right? And there was another news article the other day where she's complaining about, because I don't know if you guys know this, but essentially where like the customs agreement is kind of a bit screwed. We've got a lot of lorries and stuff queuing up at Dover Port to go into Calais. Like, there was thousands and thousands of lorries, right? And she had a lorry filled with £50,000 worth of shellfish that she was trying to sell to the EU. And basically, lorries is trucks for any Americans, and Devon is a place, and a port is obviously where ships go. But basically, she has lost £50,000 worth of produce that she wanted to sell into the EU because of Brexit. You know, I just, it reminds me of, there's been a meme recently of like me reaping and then me sowing, and it's basically that. Like, someone did that with the two news articles as well. It's really, really good. It's like, you vote for Brexit, you get exactly what you wanted, and then you complain that you got what you wanted. Like, what the hell? Like, come on. But there we go. Looks like we are going to have one of the observers being chased away. Last is not going to get any vision. The funny thing is as well, our fishing industry is losing like millions of pounds a day because of Brexit. I'll go into this in a second. We are going to have an engagement here at the 12 o'clock position. Last has a lot more units up here, so Venom is going to have to pull back. Doesn't want to get into position. Looks like the observer does get away as well, so both players doing a really good job keeping their observers alive. Looks like both players still getting ready to engage in the middle of the map. Still not going to go for it though. No massive reason to attack for Venom. He is going for a third base. Last, meanwhile, is not. Tech-wise, Last is going into a Citadel. He does have his Robo support bay already, but he doesn't have a shuttle, so we're going to have to wait for that. Looks like both players are pretty much exactly in the same location. Tech-wise, supply-wise, Last is ahead. But this is a very easy map to defend. You have two small ramps here and a small ramp here, so it's very difficult to break 3 bases. But if Venom gets himself contained, it can be very difficult to take the 4th base, which is this one. And yeah, Venom's building placement is really, really nice to look at. But adding more gateways might be a little bit more difficult later on. But Last has got gateways, like Last's building placement is really nice as well. Yeah, so just going back to my weird story about Brexit. One of our politicians is called Jacob Rees-Mogg. Now, if you guys have ever seen like a period film that's set in the Victorian era in England, like the 1800s, right? Jacob Rees-Mogg is essentially a person who was cryogenically frozen in the Victorian era, and he's come out in the modern era. Like, he is literally a Victorian man. He is so unbelievably conservative, it's unreal. He has a nanny that looks after him, right? A nanny that looks after him, okay? And he's like 60 or 70 or something. And he looks like a fucking... yeah, he's an asshole, but... basically, the other day... okay, we'll go back to the game for a second. When we go into another lull, I'll finish this off.
British fish are happy fish. British fish are happy fish.
Thank you, Josh, for the
British
sub, and that is
fish are happy
it. That
fish.
is exactly what
British
the thing is.
British fish are happy fish. British fish are happy fish.
Yeah,
British fish
I'll
are happy
explain
fish.
that in just a second. If
British
you've been waiting
fish
for
are happy
ages to do
fish.
that,
British
that's funny.
fish are happy.
So I turned on the anti-spam thing and it still lets people spam that, but that's fine. Yeah, that was a terrible engagement for last. So Venom has now got the supply advantage, which is going to be pretty good for him. Basically, Jacob Rees-Mogg, just to finish it off, he said recently that even though the fishing industry is losing money because all of our fish are stuck, not going into the EU, and not being sold, essentially, he said the British fish, or the fish that are being fished, are British now, and they're happier for it. And it's like, what? Oh my goodness, he's gonna lose the Reavers. 2 Reavers going down there in the shuttle, not really doing any damage, and Venom is suddenly in a very good position in this PvP. The fishing industry is so badly affected because, surprisingly enough, most of everything we fished was sold to the EU, and right now none of our produce can get to the EU because there's such a backlog of trucks and lorries. So it's almost like cutting our ties with our biggest trading partner in the world is going to cause problems for our industries. It's like, I don't understand. I don't get it. But, I mean, at least we didn't get people storming the equivalent of our Capitol building and then wondering why they're getting arrested by the government. There is no advantage of leaving the EU. There was never any advantage of leaving. Like, it's so dumb. Now, there is a DT here that could cause a lot of trouble, but he needs to make sure he defends against this DT because you do not want to die to a single DT here. Yeah, the people in high places, the disaster capitalists, are making a ton of money from the pound suffering. So that's the good thing from Brexit for them. But Last is not in a good place. He's down 13, 14 workers. He's down 17 supply, which isn't that bad given the fact most of it is in workers. But where Last has a big army in the middle of the map, Last is able to take a 4th base and Venom is unable to. But here we go. Looks like we are going to have an engagement down the ramp. Nice storm there for Venom. Last is not moving out of the storm. But neither is Venom. This is such a weird engagement to be able to look. A lot of Venom's units are actually on the high ground still. 2 Reavers on the low ground doing a lot of damage, but getting stormed. Going to be cleaned up very quickly here. And if only Venom had all of his units in this engagement, but so many of his units were up on top of the ramp. This went so much better for Last than it should have done, but there's still so many units for Venom. This is such a good defense in the end of it all. He lost all of his tech units though, which is a big problem, but Venom is all of a sudden 33 supply up, and he is going to be the one going for a counterattack. And this is going to leave Venom open to be able to take a 4th base, but there's a DT down here with 3 kills already, and he is going to be blocking any probes from being able to expand up there. Now we've got 3 High Templar and a single DT flying on over into the main base here. We've got a 4th base coming up at the 12 o'clock location. While this drop is going on, he is going to push into the 4th base. DT dropping off first. Oh my goodness, he's gonna... Oh, this is going to be a juicy storm drop. 42 probes, only 2 killed in that. Not the best probe drop I've seen. Oh my goodness, if he drops those probes, if he storms them, oh my goodness, so many probes going down there. 4 kills now. He's down to 29 probes from 44. The Archon coming in here as well. No more storm energy, but he does save his 4th base. Dizzy saying in chat that it's crazy how these folks would absolutely spank me but lose to pros pretty easily. Yeah, there's such a massive skill difference in Brood War between all the different levels of players. Last is like one of the top. Well, he's a Korean amateur that does pretty well. So Venom I've not seen too many games from, to be honest, but I mean, this game he's done pretty well so far. Like, he's playing this perfectly. He is trying to expand at probably the hardest base to take on the map, given it's right by his opponent's 3rd base. If you get a Reaver here as well, you can kill all these cannons for essentially free, minus the cost of the Scarabs, so it's rough, but looks like Venom gonna get ready to try and take his 5th base. And this game is going to continue on past the mid-game. So far when we have a look at the PvPs on this map, the average duration is around 8 minutes. That's because I've not put the previous 2 PvPs on here, the times for those, but we've only had 3 PvPs here so far, and genuinely they're not, one of them was a walkover, so we've only essentially had 2 PvPs, and they were both quite quick games, so this is definitely a weird game. Like, we went from a proxy 1 gate, which did a bunch of damage, to the game flipping on its head. Venom taking a massive lead now. It's insane how far ahead he is. The shuttle survived in the natural as well this whole time. And let's look at this, a big storm coming in from Speed. A big storm coming in from Venom as well. Last even, not Speed. Speed was game 1. But this engagement looks like it's going very, very well for Venom here. The Zealots getting on top of the Dragoons at the back. The Zealots of Last unable to make the connections. More storms coming in on the Dragoons. Dragoons high ground versus low ground here. Although it looks like Venom is slowly starting to get pushed back. This is such a crazy engagement. The reinforcements saving the engagement there for Last, and all of a sudden the supplies are a lot closer even. And with nearly a 20 or 22 supply probe lead, Last has a bigger army, so Venom is going to be forced to pull back. But here we go, we're going to have a ReV and a Dragoon dropping in. This is such a weird force, but here we go. Looks like the probes are going to run up towards the cat. Oh, is he going to get the Charleway? Yes, he is. Here we go. Looks like the ReV are going to try and drop into there. He is going to drop and die, but he is going to get 2 probes for his worries. And of course, Last doesn't have too many probes to begin with, so he can't really afford to lose those. I wonder if we're going to have a split map situation here, because this is looking crazy. And if we do split the map vertically, Last is going to be at disadvantage. Because he is not going to have this 12 o'clock base. Taking this base by Venom is a stroke of genius. Now, there is another base in the 6 o'clock location, and there's this base in the middle of the map, which I don't think we will ever see anyone be able to take, because it's almost impossible to hold on to. The only way you can hold that base is if you have like the world's hardest contain on this ridge. There is no other way of holding that base, and you also need to make sure your opponent can't get across here. But we've got Last heading down, checking pin bases down in the bottom right. Just making sure not get caught off guard. Ryan Metal in chat saying a Terran can hold anything. Well, maybe. But even then, I don't think they'd be able to... Like, you may be able to hold on to your command center, but you can't mine. How do you hold these? Like, you can't hold the minerals. It's crazy. But that's what it is. It's a stalemate deciding map. Deciding base, even. Is he saying in chat, in the words of Bisu, a 200 Terran army can defend against 300 Protoss army? That is true. But that is the whole point. Like, Terran's mech is very slow, it's very immobile, it is powerful, but it's very tricky to actually, like, engage with. And Protoss is supposed to send multiple armies to kill a 200 Terran army. That's just how it's supposed to be. It's always been that way, but here we go. Looks like Last is going to try and push up to this 12 o'clock location. A lot of Zealots getting stormed here. A weird engagement. The cannons really helping out on that right-hand side here. More storms coming in for Venom. This could be a very dangerous situation with storms coming in from Last as well. Nice storms on the Dragoons at the front, but losing a lot of his high tempo here is Venom. Although so does Last, and the amount of blue goo there is ridiculous. 2 Archons coming in, saving them from the storms. That is not buildable. This is not buildable terrain. You could wall here, but you've got this part here which you can't wall, so it's not a big deal. And yeah, there is a shot over here. 6 kills on the probe, 6 kills on the probes even. Venom's... It's crazy because Venom's economy is so much better, but he can't seem to get the kill. Like, he can't get the engagement so far. Oh, but look at this. Venom is coming in with a strike team of Zealots. This is SEAL Team 6 going in to assassinate this base right now. And this is definitely not going to be a base that's going to be mined from for a while. Zealot's very, very strong. Let's actually check the upgrades while we're at it. 2-1 for Venom against 3-2 for Last. This is showing why Venom is having so much trouble in these engagements. The upgrades are so much better for Last right now. But Last loses 2 bases in 1, and all of a sudden, Last is essentially down to 1 base. This base is almost mined out. He's barely mining here at his previous 4th or 3rd base. And Venom is in such a good spot. Venom taking a 5th base down here in the bottom left hand. No, this is a 6th base. And now we can have, or we see that base in the 6 o'clock location has been uncovered on the map, so you can see where that is. Now, probes are actually transferring completely undefended. I don't agree with this too much. Last is going for a counter here. Look at how many cannons there are. It's not like in PvZ where a Zerg player can just send a Defiler in a single lane and kill like 1 million cannons. Like, you need to heavily engage into this, and if you go there, look at this. Venom is going to send his army in behind this army. Oh my god, the probes are coming out. They're going to get killed by Archons. That is a ridiculous number of kills on those probes, but he's still 10 probes up. The cannons, so much minerals wasted going into these cannons here, but the army is now trapped. We do have 2 Archons blocking this ramp. Zealots unable to get in, but we don't have Venom coming in behind, although the Nexus is going to go down. Venom, of course, is going to be mined out of his mineral only. He already is. He's got the 12 o'clock base mining. His natural is almost gone. But these engagements for Venom have not been going well. This is exactly what Last needs. He's going to come back in this game. This is so crazy. Venom has played so well macro-wise. He just cannot engage properly. He's too far behind in upgrades. 3-2 against 2-2. And he spends so much money on cannons that just haven't saved his bases. The only cannons that have really helped have been the ones at 12 o'clock. And all of a sudden, we've got Last on 1 base, because his natural has just mined out. I mean, realistically, this is like when it ain't... Well, I don't want to make this comparison because this is just like Brood War and AoE is more like Brood War, but it's like in Age of Empires 1 where you have like 20 people foraging and you go down to 1 bush, right? That's basically what's happened. He's going to transfer his probes away. We do have a shuttle coming around here. It is going to be for a double storm drop. Now, if he can storm drop these probes, that would be very good. And that looks like is exactly what he's going to... Oh my goodness. If he can get in front of these probes, this is going to be devastating. Drop and storm the probes! Drop and storm the probes! Oh, he saves the probes. That was very, very lucky. Looks like he's going to try and storm this base instead. No, he's going to keep his shot out of the way. Yeah, AoE 1 was my 2nd ever RTS. I think you can drop a High Templar there. A Ghost or a High Templar can drop on that. I think you may even be able to fit a tank on there, actually. Okay, there we go. Storm drop coming in. Oh my goodness, he gets another amazing storm drop. Oh my god, so many probes have been killed in the making of this game that High Templar does go down on top of the dead command center. Cannon Man continues to build his cannons. The Great Wall of Venom. I mean, realistically, I guess he is Venom. He's Venom King. So I guess those are his, like, castle walls, right? Those are his castle walls. You need a castle for a king. You know, you can't just build a nexus. You need the ramparts, you need the walls, you need everything. But looks like Last is going to push down here to the bottom left-hand base again. Venom is in a better position to defend it this time. He's actually got units down here, but this is a full army from Last. Once again, he's got more army supply again. And he's in between two of the bases. Venom, his units are kind of stuck in the bottom here, so he's going to have trouble coming out. And that is going to cause a few problems. But looks like Last is going to pull away. Looks like, given he knows his opponent's army is in the bottom, he was thinking about going to the 12 o'clock location and then thought, nope, not going there. But yeah, Venom's army, Last's army was bigger. He's now been dwarfed in supply. But in terms of the army composition, Last's army is better. He's got, well, he's 3-3 against 3-2, so Venom is the one with the upgrade advantage now. Although no shield upgrades for either player yet, which is kind of weird when you go for a lot of Archons, but there's more tech units here for Last, so this army from Last should win. Not moving out of Storm as well. Like, if that was Terran or Zerg, all of those units would be dead. Protoss units are so hardy, man. Like, they just don't die. Now Last is trying to push the envelope here, trying to find a way to kill one of these bases. The top base is kind of, well, it's over halfway dead now, or when I say dead, it's over halfway mined out. The gas is still pretty powerful, pretty strong here. But Ryan's saying, why don't they wait and max out? Because if they wait and max out, they know that it's going to probably come down to one engagement, and they most likely don't want that. Last wants to try and starve out Venom, because he knows Venom isn't properly mining off of the bottom left-hand side yet. And if he can starve him out, he's going to win the game. But we're 29 minutes in, and we are looking to head into possibly the longest PvP of STPL history. So in terms of long games, our longest is a TvT. We then had a ZvP, another TvT, a TvP, and a PvZ. So we've not had a long PvP, but the way this is going, we could get there. We could make it into the top five even. Yeah, out of all the maps we've added this season, out of Minerals ones, this is my favorite. We've had a lot of very, very fun maps on this game. Very, very fun games on this map. And it looks really nice as well. But looks like once again, Last catching some of Venom's units off guard here. Venom needs to be more careful with his army. If he gets half of his army engaged with at once, he is going to lose. He doesn't have Storm energy, or he doesn't have Templar energy either. Neither player does. Templar with energy goes up to 250, right? Or is it 225? I like Blindside as well. Blindside's led some other really good games as well. It is 250, yeah, so neither of them have gone for Templar energy. I don't understand why. I guess it's because they've got so many high Templar anyway, that it's so hard to control them. Like, I guess 250 energy is better when you've got less Templar, like in PvZ, because you've got less to worry about, but I don't know, this just feels a little bit crazy. We did have a Storm drop, I think. I don't think it did too much damage though. We are still on 38 probes for Last. But Last is really struggling economy-wise. Like, he does not have a lot of money. And I think the only reason he's in this game is because his engagements are so, so good. Now look at this. Venom is trying to take the 6 o'clock base. Cannon Man setting up another wall of cannons. These are going to be completely dead. He needs to cancel them. Just cancel. They're not going to work. Cancel them all. You're just wasting minerals. Look at this! He's playing pop-up cannons! There we go, he cancelled them all now. Pop-up cannons is kind of like pop-up pirates, but every single cannon that goes down is what makes the pop-up happen. But the weird thing is about the situation in this game, both players are technically mining off of 3 bases. We've got 3 gas bases against 2. And somehow Last is still getting better engagements. It's 3-3-1 now against, I would assume, still 3-3. Yeah, no +1 shields yet. I honestly think we should see some Arbiters or something. I feel like Arbiters would be very, very good in this situation because it does. I don't think either player is really going around with Observers anymore, right? Like, going for Arbiters right now, I think would be incredible. Now, Venom has mined out the 12 o'clock base. And that means he is going to struggle to expand again. He does still have 2 relatively healthy bases on the left-hand side. But the main base that you need to worry about is this one. But let's actually zoom out a little bit to get all of this engagement in the action. Once again, Venom's army is not all together, so his army is kind of engaging one by one. I'm going to select all of the Archons by Venom so we know which ones are his, because it's so confusing when it's Archon versus Archon. But once again, Last has a ridiculous number of units against a very few of them, and he gets a better engagement. It's just never-ending pain here for Venom in these engagements. He just can't get his units in the right location. And all of a sudden, Last is in a great position again. He's only down 10 supply. But he's down less than 10 supply now. And he's down 20 probes. So his army is so much stronger. Oh, that was a miss-storm there by Venom, unless that was that Templar? Now the important thing to remember, we're 34 minutes into this game, and if Venom does not win at the end of this, Wico will win the series. So Venom has to win this game. He has no choice. If he wants his team to stay alive in the series, he has to win. Venom looks like he wants to try and expand to 6 again. But unfortunately, there is a Nexus here already, which he is going to find out the hard way about. Now, while all of his opponent's units are down at the bottom, it looks like he wants to go for a counter to one of the only remaining bases of Last. But I think attacking right now would be a mistake. Another High Templar getting killed over here. Last is now ahead in bases. But Last is going to mine out quicker. Okay, so okay, let's compare the bases. So we've got about 2,000 minerals, I think, here, if I counted that correctly. Against much less. So Venom is going to mine out that base. But here we go. Looks like Venom does manage to kill that base up here. And is he going to get away with his units? Storm! There we go, he does Storm. Now Venom loses his supply lead, and that is worrying. Because he is now down in army supply and up in worker supply. And when you're down in bases, that isn't going to help you. And look at this, Last is going to expand to the center. Can Venom pull this back? Now while this is going on, let's check the bottom left-hand base. So we've got quite a healthy amount of minerals down here, so it's not the end of the world here. It's a lot healthier than this base. So we could see both players realistically mine out. Yeah, so Venom has spent a lot of minerals on cannons, which essentially means his bases can't die, but they can't move. So there's not really anything Venom can do to push. But now Venom is turtled up again. Like, Last can't kill Venom. That is the bonus here. Like, Venom has enough cannons that any attack is costly. Oh, here we go. We're going to have a storm drop on the probes once again. 41 probes, 40 probes remaining now. Nice storm drop there coming in here from Venom, but that's units he can't replenish at the moment. Does he have the... Yeah, he's got the shield upgrades for the cannons. That's what it was. He didn't get the upgrade for his units. But look at this. It's 3-3-2 against 3-3-1. Both players are going to be maxed out again, but Venom has way more probes than he needs right now. Venom should probably... Well, I guess he doesn't want to throw the probes away. Carriers are very good in PvP, but it's kind of been too scrappy for either player to go for it. And Arbiters have been kind of risky. I said Arbiters a while ago because neither player's been really walking around with an Observer, but once again, Venom is finding his army split in two. Venom is not having luck with engagements at all this game so far. Obviously, Last has the 2 bases in the middle of the map. These are the 2 most important bases in the entire game with 37 minutes in. With 37 minutes in, and as of 42 minutes, if this game reaches 42 minutes, it's going into the top 5 of the longest STPL games in history. Someone in chat asked Venom why he was always out of position, and Venom just says, I was angry as fuck. That's a good question. But there we go, look at this. This is a great position. This is the best position Venom's been in this so far this game. He has the high ground. If this is Mustafa, Venom is Obi-Wan, and Last is currently Anakin Skywalker, and we could have Darth Vader coming up soon, because he is pushing up into his own base, and while this is going on, the base in the middle is being taken out. More units coming in behind here. Venom taking an absolutely impeccable engagement here on the high ground. Last in such a huge amount of trouble now. The base here is going to go down. Venom should get ready to expand there. And Last is currently down 50 supply with 3 minutes away from reaching the top 5 longest games in STPL history. Let's see if this is going to last. Last still has a ton of money. He's still got a lot of bases. Venom's army isn't that big. He's only got around 70 army supply. Last has around 50. And look at this. Last went for the King unit. King, Arbiter, Storm coming in, but look how little damage it takes. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Last lost his base in the middle of this Archon, 332, so upgrades are actually this 333 against 332. I think I said that before, but I completely lost it. Last is still in a good position because he still has 1 extra base that Venom doesn't. Last can still remax. Venom is running out of money, and Venom needs to expand. The only base left to expand to is this base in the middle. And that is so hard to expand to, as we just saw. Now, Venom could actually expand here as well, and that would be good, but it looks like Venom is going to try and go for the same engagement again. That's the thing. If it works, you just keep on doing it, right? Let's see if he's going to do it. Let's see if he can make it work. His units are split up again. I feel this is like a really weird kind of time loop we're stuck in. The Arbiter goes down, but the stasis on the Dragoons, oh my goodness, it's not often you get to see that. And Venom is still in an okay spot. We're 1 minute 10 seconds away from being in the top 5. Can Last hold on long enough? Last is still ahead in bases. Venom is unable to expand, and Venom is essentially at the point of what you see is what you get. But Venom is in a very strong position again. Venom moving in with more and more units. Last holding back, 50 seconds remaining until we reach the high score. Whoa, it's not really a high score. But what an insane PvP. PvP, when it goes late game, is behind TvT, but the second best mirror matchup. ZvZ sucks. Like, ZvZ sucks completely. But yeah, Venom is in such a good spot. We've got 30 seconds remaining. Last is trying to hold on. He's got his Arbiter cloaking a single Dragoon, and he's trying to hold on. There's no form of detection. It looks like this could be checkmate, but Venom is still running out of money. Last is still mining on 2 bases. Losing these pylons, not a big deal. And all he has to do is defend his main base, and he could be in a good spot. And there we have it. We've reached the top 5 longest games of all time in the STPL. Let's see how far this can go now. But Venom has played impeccably. GG. Last taps out. Venom takes down the strongest player so far in the STPL on Wico and brings us to an ace match, which is going to come up after this. I'm going to give myself like a... okay, I'm going to give myself like a 4-minute break or something, because I've just been casting for 44 minutes, or 42 minutes, sorry. I'll see you guys soon.
go!
Okay guys, welcome back. We're here for game number 5. It's the ace match. 2 ace matches in 2 matches in 1 day. Not too bad. We had an amazing PvP just there between Venom and Last. And neither of those players are coming back here because we are going to have, starting us off down here in the bottom right hand corner on the mainland, and that was the longest PvP in STPL. It's NetWars kogeT, the Polish powerhouse himself. And starting us off up here in the top left hand corner, also on the mainland, we've had 2 TvPs today. And both of them have been mainland versus mainland. It's going to be the blue Protoss player fighting for Wico. It's Hiya. And before I get any questions, this isn't the pro player Hiya. The pro player Hiya has played in the STPL before, but he's on Clan White, and or White Clan. And White Clan aren't playing anymore in the STPL due to the timing of everything, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But he played under the ID Mulgogi. But it's a TvP. Can the Polish powerhouse win the game here and win the series? Thank you SCP for the resub. 4 months now, thank you so much. That's what we're gonna have to find out. I think I'm hoping it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be pretty hard to follow up that PvP we just had, because it's very rarely I will say that. I mean, I like PvP, but most of them are quite underwhelming. Like after a certain period. Like, okay, so PvP, the very, very start of the game is kind of boring. And the mid-game can be exciting, but it can also be boring as well. But when you get into the late game of PvP, I think it's better than ZvP. Like, PvP is so cool when you've got 2 heavily teched out, maxed out Protoss armies. Storm drops going all over the place, Reavers all over the place, Dark Archons, we didn't see those there, Arbiters we just saw. It could be so much more fun and entertaining than PvP. Now we've got a 14cc coming in from kogeT. kogeT playing as if he's against someone on the island, which is how you should play this map. Hiya going for a gate into a core, but Hiya doesn't know that kogeT is going for a command center yet. He didn't know his opponent was here until he saw the SCV, so no Zealot has been started yet, so he's going to be going across with his first Dragoon. So kogeT is starting with an advantage this game. With the economic advantage for sure. kogeT going in for his gas. Soon after starting that up, we'll see a depot most likely put here, a bunker up here, and kogeT should be high and dry, safe in his base. Good night Venom, thanks for watching. I realize it's quite late for people in Europe now, so if you are in Europe and still watching, thank you. But you can blame Venom for being up so late. And I hope you guys realize why I didn't want to cast on Monday now after my first day back at work. Because I had a feeling that the games were going to be long. I didn't realize they'd be this long, but this is the longest STPL cast I've had in a while. We're 2 hours 56 minutes in, and we're in the final game of the evening, which is good for me. Because I need to chill. But these games have been so good today. We've had so many good games. Wico vs NetWars, definitely one of my favorite series so far this season. Now Dragoon back here is going to stop this SCV, but not before it gets a full scout of the base. So essentially kogeT has nothing to worry about. He knows there's a Nexus coming up. Y2 Kid, this is just a complete random guess. It's not the pro gamer Hiya. Just a random... Are you in Estonia by any chance? There's obviously other places that are +2 from me, but the one I can remember, because I've been like playing VR chat with an Estonian guy recently quite a lot, so I remember that they're 2 hours ahead. Plus 2 is quite a big time zone. I just wondered, that was all. Wait, Poland is +2 for me as well, isn't it? Oh, Elfunk is from Estonia. Well, I got the right country for one of you. Is Poland +2? Oh, Poland is +1. Okay. Oh my god, I'm so bad with time zones. This guy from that course, what are these awesome maps and why do we not see them elsewhere? They are the maps that were made for the STPL, for the STPL Season 4 map contest. Freaklink helped the creators, which is why they're so damn good as well, so that's why you don't see them anywhere else. They are STPL maps. Okay, so the bunker is held at the front, not really too much for kogeT to worry about. 2 factory tank coming in while he goes for double upgrades on his vultures. And kogeT is pretty much safe for the time being. Now, he did get siege mode, right? Did he not get siege mode? Why isn't he sieging? Did I miss... Is he... This is such a risky build, skipping siege. Apparently this is a flash opener. I suppose this is a pretty good push because you get 3 tanks, you go with a lot of vultures, or you a lot of marines, and you go for a lot of vultures. But here we go, looks like the marines getting taken out pretty quickly. Nice target firing by our Protoss player, but one of the dragoons going down already. And the real story is going to be the... Oh no, don't split up your units, kogeT. Oh no, he's going to lose a tank! No, you don't want to lose the tanks! No, the marine! The traitor marine getting in the way there. But the tank does survive for the time being, but the first 2 vultures get in behind here, and they've laid mines already. And this is when things start to become a problem. Oh my goodness. Oh no, losing 3 dragoons there. Massive, massive damage. The first ReV is out on the way, but he saw it going. But no, kogeT moving a bit too far forward with his tanks a little bit too quickly. But the tanks do clear both of those dragoons out, but they will be taken down finally. The vultures getting in the main base, 3 kills on that dragoon, 4. Oh my god, that probe. Absolute assassin probe, but more vultures streaming into the main base here. One of them is going to go down. He's not going to be able to use all of his... Oh, he's used all those mines already. kogeT the king. Nicely done. But vulture getting another couple of probes. The gas mining is completely destroyed here at the main base. Only putting 2 probes on gas as well. But this is going to be a problem. We have a ReV. Oh my goodness, so many SCVs are so clumped up here. This is such a dangerous position. Losing about 6 SCVs, I think it was there. kogeT definitely still in a pretty good spot. More vultures coming in. Killing a few more probes, but most of the probes did transfer back into the main throughout that. Oh, the mines! Okay, the mines didn't go off for some reason. I was a bit lucky. Wait. Was there a mine in his mineral line, or did he just kill a... Yeah, he must have killed a mine, not an SCV, right? And that's probably a good thing, because there's about to be a ReV dropping there. Oh my goodness. Well, it looks like the ReV is not going to drop in the minerals, but he is going to go back here. The tank in a dangerous spot. Does want to be careful. Oh no. Oh, thank goodness. I thought he was going to drop on the mine. But there we go. Looks like he is going to throw down a Scarab again. The SCV blocking it. Gonna bug out the Scarab. Definitely something you want happening, but there we go. The ReV gets taken down, but not without killing a few SCVs. Now more vultures getting ready to come round to try and do some more damage here. Mine's being cleaned up though. There shouldn't be a way into this base. And he's... Okay, kogeT is a king. I love kogeT so much. You know what he's doing? He's repairing his units. And when I said that, for some reason, I looked at chat as if I was talking directly to you. But here we go. kogeT coming in for some more damage. Gets another couple of probes. Can he get a third? No, doesn't get a third, but still. 2 vultures, which have used all of their mines for 2 probes, is okay. The Goliath is still chasing the shuttle, even though the shuttle left ages ago. Yeah, Y2Kid saying good thing that Venom left so I can see King kogeT. Maybe that's what it is. Poland don't have a monarchy anymore, right? At least they didn't before. They've all just joined NetWars. Like, the mine goes off, does a lot of damage there to the Dragoons. Yeah, kogeT is the king of Terran in Poland. And Venom apparently is the king of Protoss. kogeT is still not in the best position right now. He's lost a lot of units. Oh, but, okay, so Bonith is the king of Protoss, but I mean, have you seen Bonith beat Venom? Venom is the self-proclaimed king of Protoss until he gets beaten by Bonith, right? That's how the monarchy works. Okay, the Protoss king of NetWars, then. The Protoss king of NetWars, there we go. Okay, kogeT throwing down some scans, just checking to make sure you can see scan both the other islands, because he wants to be sure that his opponent hasn't hidden any bases. Oh, wait. Oh, okay, scan for the army. He's getting ready to push forward now. This is a dangerous position. Oh, I don't like this position for kogeT. One bit higher coming in from multiple angles. Tanks sieging very, very late, but oh my god! The tanks damaging or killing all of the damage recruits in one shot. And that trade went so much better for kogeT than it should have done. The mine that hit the Dragoons earlier just gave him such an incredible engagement. kogeT's still not ahead in supply. He's still low on tanks, which is something he can't afford to be. But look at this micro. kogeT very, very good with his tanks. But Haya still in a better position. kogeT trying to take a third base, but he can't get it. And he's still low on units. Like, you can't be trading armies. You cannot be trading armies as Terran. Like, you need to max out. You need to be strong. And that is something that currently kogeT is unable to do. Now, kogeT does scan ahead. Checks for the... Wait. Yeah, he checked for the fourth base, which is... I mean, if this probe is all that's going to attack this hive, we should see the fourth base in about 10 years. But the third base is secured by kogeT now. Now kogeT is getting ready to go for a drop on the third base. Now if you drop in the main, you can hit the mineral line here and mine up as well. Now kogeT is in a pretty good spot. Now just a reminder as well, because when I went through what the team's position was, the team's position so far is essentially both teams are on 3-for-1 in the series, in the season. And this could be the difference between the seeding, but look at this, kogeT coming in, he's going to see the Arbiter Tribunal. Oh, but he's going to get in as soon as some units spawn. That's very, very unfortunate. Oh no, that's so unfortunate. There we go, he is going to try and get some siege tank shots on the probes, gets 3 of them. Can he get another shot on them? More mines killing Dragoon. Oh no. There we go. Okay, so the time to kill the hive has gone in half, and now they're going to be invisible killing it for the time being. Oops. Now kogeT, of course, is on the 3 bases. It's going to be quite hard for kogeT to expand, but I'm really, you know what? It's been really exciting seeing how ground versus ground has worked on this map. Because we've not really seen it so far now. The later the game goes, the more beneficial it's going to be for Haya, because he's going to be able to recall everywhere, so any island bases are going to be hard for poor kogeT to take. But kogeT's going to be able to get his third gas in a relatively easy location. Now, kogeT is currently at the mineral only. He definitely doesn't want to take that base. That is not a base you need as a Terran player. He's already got a mineral only, he needs the third gas and he needs it soon. But kogeT, just building up. +2 attack is done. +1 armor isn't yet, but he's against 1 attack so far. Where is his armories here? So 1 armory, currently not up, or neither of his armories are upgrading right now. So definitely feeling the lack of gas. Unable to really afford +3 right now. He needs to max out as quick as he can. +2 attack is realistically the kind of important upgrade. Now, kogeT scanned again to see where the army was. Just wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to die. Now, kogeT looking to take his 4th base here up in the top right hand corner. That would be good, but if Haya finds it, he can recall. But obviously, if you recall over there, you need to recall the units back out. But Haya getting ready for his 5th base. 4th base coming up as well. Looks like the vultures dropping off in the middle of the map. Not really going for anything too crazy. One of the vultures unfortunately getting lost. Thank you, Crossy, for the raid. Welcome, guys. You're in the final game of today's STPL. It's kogeT versus Haya. It's been a pretty good game so far. We've got kogeT on the high ground. The siege tanks getting stasis. This is looking like a bit of a rough engagement for kogeT. Let's zoom out a little bit so we get it all on the screen. The tanks at the back going to be doing a lot of damage. Vultures in position to defend them. But I think this could be a little bit too much here for Haya. I mean, the Dragoons in the back definitely not in a good position to engage, but kogeT's in trouble. kogeT needs to, like, he's scanning around, checking for bases while this is going on as well. Now, he does trade quite efficiently here, but let's see how that affects the supplies. kogeT down at 130 supply, Haya at 133, so that has tied up the supplies here. But with so many zealots coming in here, this is going to be a bit rough. Now, one option kogeT has to expand is this base in the middle, and that would be incredibly good, but Haya is not, well, Haya is Haya, but he's not the Terran Haya. That Haya is on White Clan. He did play in the STPL before. He played under the ID Mulgogi. Now, this SCV is replicating the success of the probe and going for the kill, but the Arbiter unfortunately is going to kill that. Now, the middle of the map is buildable here, so it does mean you can build the turrets, makes it a little bit easier for Terran to be able to push forward. Taking the 5th base down here is going to be hard. Now, Haya does not know about the top right, kogeT does not know about the bottom left, so neither player is really in a position to go attack each other's islands for the time being. kogeT getting ready to go for a big push with vultures, but with all the vultures away from home, that gives a lot of firepower to Haya's army. But there's going to be a lot of probes going down here. Looks like the vulture's going to focus on the probes, not going to worry about the cannons. But while this goes on, there's going to be a big engagement here. kogeT pulling ahead in the worker supply, but his army isn't very big. A lot of his army is out of position as well. He needs all of his units back here immediately. Big stasis on the top of the army. Zealot bomb coming in. Gonna make this a little bit more difficult, but Haya is definitely in a little bit of a struggle position here. The tanks at the back protected by the vultures, the Goliaths as well, helping out, and Haya is going to be forced back once again. kogeT has a lot of SCVs up here that aren't mining. As I say that, as soon as that engagement finishes, he goes to macro, and that is how strong kogeT is. Haya definitely still in an okay position, but if kogeT can get down here with a dropship, he is going to starve Haya out, and that is a very important moment. Now, the vulture is going to come down once. What is it with Terran players and sending vultures to kill hives? It doesn't work. Okay, I don't like zooming in at the default zoom anymore. When we get past the mid-game, I just like being at like this zoom. It just looks better. Like, I hope other people agree with me, because that's what it feels like. But this game, it's still going. kogeT still has that hidden base up at the top. And kogeT's doing a really good job catching the observers, stopping them from being able to check his bases over on the right-hand side. Haya's army isn't very big either. He's got about 100 supply in army. It's bigger than kogeT's, but kogeT's still in a good spot. Now, Haya's army is kind of split around everywhere. Did I miss a drop at the top or something? Because Bonith is playing on Soul, yeah. Now all of the units coming down here to try and defend this base, but he can't even land the command center yet because the creep hasn't receded. But could this be a problem? Could this be a big mistake, bringing all of his units down here? There's going to be a lot of tanks on the low ground. The Dragoons are going to be trying to push up a ramp, which is not what you really want to do. Nice mines, nice tanks on the high ground as well, going to help defend this base. Lucky Noob saying zoomed out does not show the amazing micro. Also, Bonith has been really busy recently, so that's one of the main reasons why Bonith hasn't played. Like, it's not that Bonith isn't good enough to play on Soul, it's just he's actually too busy to play right now. Like, Fuji said that before. It's the same with, like, Gorinich as well. The other thing is, oh, here we go, we're going to have an Arbiter come through. It is viewed by the, okay, so let's have a look. What is he going to recall? He's going to recall into the main. You can see kogeT scrambling back here. There's no, oh my god, there's no EMP. Oh, can he get the EMP in time? I don't think he's going to be able to. The Arbiter getting into position. This could end the game. The EMP comes in, but the recall has been called. Not many units come in, though. He should actually EMP the Dragoons here. Just make the recall easier to defend. Now that is a good recall, and this is going to be a problem because the other half of the units that should have come into the base are not there. And they could actually go into a position to attack this. But that's a very nice defense. kogeT does lose his starport though. He's about to lose his science facility, which is something you don't want to lose in TvP. He's actually started +3 armor, or +2 armor, just in case he loses science facility here. But this is the problem, because a lot of kogeT's units are back in his main, and there is a big push coming to his 5th base here. The base in the top right has been scouted by the Arbiter now. At least I think it has. No, it hasn't. He's still not seen the base. But it can kogeT hold on to his base down here. Haya has got the 2 bases in the bottom left. kogeT knows about them, but he can't really do anything about them. But I think kogeT may be screwed here. I don't know how he can hold on. His units are out of position. But Haya's army is going to get trapped. Haya's army is getting trapped here. Haya, though, is coming in for another recall. He's ignoring the base in the top right because he doesn't know about it. kogeT needs to save this command center if he can, but he can't. It stops in the worst possible location. And this has been such a sick series. Oh my goodness. Now, he needs to EMP this Arbiter. He just has to. If he gets recalled in his main again, it could be game over. And there's still an Arbiter down here that he didn't kill. Now, Haya did lose a lot of army. kogeT is still in an okay spot. The dropship is low on health. He needs to... Oh my god, he needs to drop the units. The Arbiter is going to stop the units dropping. No! Oh my goodness! 1 health! He saves it! But the tank is going to die. The creep around the geyser of the minerals doesn't affect anything, no. But oh my goodness, no. No, 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 this is why you need an EMP. And when you start losing all of your vessels and you've got no science facility, this is when the game ends. And look at this, he recalls into the main. The mines do absolutely nothing because they never do when you're defending recalls. The EMP comes in, but a little bit too late to do too much. kogeT down in bases. Is he out of luck here? Is Haya going to take a comeback victory here to win the series? kogeT trying to defend this with the best he possibly can, but he's out of vessels. Well, his vessels aren't in position. He can't, well, he's got good SimCity, so he's able to hold on here, but the starport's going to go down again. Oh man, this is rough, and look at this. He's going to come in with another recall here, and this is so rough. Oh, he doesn't. He pulls away his Arbiter. I guess that would have been a wasted recall, to be fair. But here he goes. He's going around. Oh my god, is he going to come back into the main? No way is he going to recall on those mines. Nope, no recall on the mines just yet. Oh man, he is so dirty. What a dirty Protoss player. Oh, you hate to see it. He's coming in here with his recall. He's going to pick up the units and drop them all in. There we go. More units getting dropped into the main. kogeT's tanks unsieged. A lot of his units stuck at his ramp. GG, kogeT taps out, and after an incredibly close series, Haya is going to take game number 5 and give the series to Wico 3-2. Now the funny thing is, someone in chat, Mr. Panther said, why is Toss so hateable? Essentially, Toss in tournaments are like the heel. Like, no one wants to cheer for the Protoss players. And well, I do sometimes, but yeah, it was a really, really cool series. Obviously, 3-2 was the final score. We had an amazing comeback potential there by NetWars. 973 taking down Ziggy, Speed taking down Zoom, kogeT with an incredible TvT win over ParkJi, Venom with one of the best PvPs we've had in the STPL by far over last, and then Haya winning in the end with recall, just not hitting those EMPs, lost kogeT the game. He had nothing that could deal with the units in the bottom left hand corner, or the bases in the bottom left hand corner, and he couldn't defend his bases either. I think kogeT maybe wasn't dead, but he was maybe too frustrated to play on. And that's it. That's going to be it. So GG's. Wico takes down NetWars. That could very well affect the seeding, because they were both tied at 3-1, but now obviously NetWars will go 3-2, Wico will go 4-1. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I noticed we got way more people tuning in the longer the stream went on, so really glad you guys came and saw some amazing games today. I'm going to just find someone to raid, and we will head into someone else's stream. I'll go and chill out for a bit. And I'll see you guys on Sunday at 12:30 CET, 11:30 GMT, 8:30 KST or JST, 7:30 AM EST, and I think it's 5:30. No. What would it be? 4:30 AM EST? I know a lot of Americans won't be able to make that, but the VOD will be up on YouTube straight after the cast, so you can go check that out. So I'll see you guys next time. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. If you're watching this, you're watching the STPL. Hopefully you've been enjoying what you've seen so far. If you want to help me make more STPL content to bring more tournaments to you, please support us on Patreon, which you can find up here. And also, there's so many different things you can get through Patreon. One of the main and one of the easiest ones to get is, of course, access to all of the replays of the STPL so far. We've had some amazing games, such as some of the games you can see just over here. Two, one.